Okay, and there we go.
Holy crap! Look at the size of my logo. I wonder if that guy's the Midwest Jeeper.
It's like the size of your head.
You had to use my like 3rd grade art ability logo as the background for the stream, didn't you?
There we go.
I think
I like it.
I actually do. It kind of pops.
I just posted a link for you guys to check out when we want to get into it, because I think you guys will love this thing, by the way.
Okay, I have no idea what it could be.
No, coming from the Toyota guy, you're going to be like, what? Like, I want to go dish the cash out for it.
Man, that is nice.
So
I'm just like drooling over the pictures and thinking of my Cherokee build now.
Is anybody else actually seeing the chat, or did it not populate for anybody else?
Chat is disabled for this live stream.
I wonder if maybe because since I don't have enough subscribers, I don't think I can enable chat. Maybe.
Oh, that could be.
Which really sucks.
That's a shame. Everybody go subscribe so that we can get the chat back for the next time.
Seriously.
Yeah, I can't even stream.
You should be able to.
Yeah, if you can stream, I thought that was available. You have to have so many.
You're not live yet. I don't see you on your channel right now.
Yeah, your channel, nothing's streaming.
Yeah, it says we're live though.
I know it says we're live.
That's weird that it did that.
Is it not linked to your account, right?
It should be. When I tested it, it went right to my. Oh, hold on.
Hold the phone. We're not really live.
Private.
We're not really live. We might have to start this all over again.
I forgot to dot a T.
No, I forgot to set it for public.
Yeah, it's just
that's important.
That'll do it. You should be able to flip it on the fly.
I hope so.
Till I sat in it once.
That's too much.
Dude.
Hey, we're live again.
But the chat is still disabled.
Slacker.
Damn it. I have no idea why. This sucks.
You only have 237 subscribers. Oh, you have to have 1,000 to stream, I thought.
No,
you know what? No. If you
pay somebody, if you get a JD Power, you pay them for an award.
Like Chevrolet does?
Oh my god. GM must just own JD Power.
They just keep cutting the checks. Let me see if I can get into why.
So if you go to your channel,
yep,
and look at like the public view of your channel, it shows the live stream. By the way, the title still says green room testing.
What a fail! I tried like hell to get this to work right. Oh my god!
But chat is there, and you can pop out chat from there if we just want to use that.
All right, maybe I'll do that. I just won't get a chance to like watch you guys.
You may be able to edit it as well and change the title if you want to.
I hope so. That'd be nice.
I mean, like while it's live. I don't know if you can do it while it's live or not.
Probably not. I have it up on the right hand side. It says Project 4X Tubers Roundtable Episode 3. I can change it after the fact. So let's run with it.
Good to go.
Yeah, the popped out chat is working. So
yeah,
excellent.
if you go to the video and then click pop out chat, you'll have a separate window with the chat, and then you can look at Lightstream and the chat. So yes.
Okay. All right. So.
Oh, Bug's gonna do CrossFit.
Okay.
Head into CrossFit.
What do you want?
I just crossfitted a bunch of fish fry into my mouth.
Okay. So. All right, here we go.
I ate my Chinese food with chopsticks. Does that count as CrossFit?
You don't want to eat Chinese food
No,
right
that's
now.
cross-stitch.
You're gonna get that coronavirus.
Good point. It was made in the USA though.
Yeah, but the pork was
Are you
imported.
sure it wasn't made in Mexico?
Might have been.
Got to put a lime in it.
Okay, so this has just been a crazy night. All right, so 12 minutes late. Welcome everybody to the 4X Tubers podcast. This is episode 3. What this kind of entails, or what this stemmed from, was a group of Nate started it, but anyway, what he wanted to do is kind of get a collab or a group of YouTubers who happen to off-road together to kind of collab and share ideas and ultimately make great content for for the viewers and subscribers. So we got together. We have our group outside of the chat, or outside of the podcast. Oh my God.
It's okay, man.
Sorry.
Fine.
All right,
This is the fun about doing it live.
Okay. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Did we do the podcast to talk to our subscribers and to other YouTubers and just share ideas and chit chat. So that's kind of it. I got a kid doing the pee-pee dance. Can you guys hold on? I told him to go before this.
Wiggle,
Chitty
wiggle.
chat.
He will do
Wiggle.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Wiggle.
I can't believe it. Like 2 minutes in, I'm already out. All right, I'll be right back.
Dude, you got to put a urinal in your office.
And then we're silent.
Shh. This is...
The suspense.
Will he make it to the potty on time?
Is Bearded and I the only ones that don't have kids running around in the background?
Yep, pretty
Maybe.
much.
Maybe.
And I've got kids. I know
I don't have
Bearded
kids
doesn't.
yet.
I gotta go put a movie on the TV now.
Dun dun dun.
We're off to a good start.
This has been. I like I said. I tried to work out all the kinks, and it's just fallen flat. Big time.
Dude,
We
it's fine.
lived.
It is fine.
It's all part of the live experience.
Hey, Bearded.
What's
So
up?
your neighbor, I've watched a bunch of your videos the other day, and your neighbor just has like stuff everywhere in their
Oh
yard.
yeah.
Like if there's a True Value sign in the back, like they open up a hardware store for you.
Well, I guess the guy that used to be next door, he owned like a pool company, so they had a bunch of like pool chemicals and all that and stuff, and so they had old hot tubs, and he kind of was a hoarder a little bit, and they recently got divorced, and so now he's not living there anymore, and her new boyfriend comes over, and they've actually been cleaning up the yard quite a bit compared to what it used to be.
That's good.
But it's
Didn't start it
still
on
a
fire
train
yet?
wreck. No, not yet. They have an old Ford dually sitting like right beside my garage. You might have seen it in a couple of my videos, but I almost want to be like, "Hey, what are you doing with this? Like, I'll
Can I
take
just
the
have it?"
axles out of it." Yeah,
Yeah, might as well, right?
yeah, or even like make
Is
a
it
tow
on your
rig.
property?
No, it's technically like right over the line.
Oh,
the
I was
edge
gonna
of-
say.
Edge of my driveway is like right where the line of the house is.
Gotcha. Be like, can I get the keys to my truck?
Uh,
Well,
So-
I am friends with a towing company that works for our company at work. So
Is it
Be
the
like,
one who
"Hey,
told you out?
bring your tow truck. No. That was the people that towed me out of the woods, Automotive Excess. They're a shop here in New Hampshire, an off-road shop.
it's a good resource to have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I was lucky to have him come tow me out of the woods for sure.
Oh.
Speaking of recovery, did you guys see that green Jeep up in Alaska that almost fell through the ice into like 500 feet of water?
I saw the picture. I didn't read the article at all, though.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
the picture.
Where did I share that article?
So out of
was
the
on the
four of
chat.
us,
It was
out
on
of the
the-
four
it
of us, only one read. Ooh, fancy!
I'm not a
cheap in the
reader.
water.
That's why I'm on YouTube.
Good
Yeah, I'm a
point.
visual learner.
Where the heck is it? Here it is. Uh-oh. She's got gloves on. This can't be good.
Bend
Bend over.
Hey, this is. I didn't set it up for this this rating.
PG-13.
I'll keep
What
an ear
rating did
open.
you set it up for?
Just keep your
G?
clothes on.
I mean,
Hey, wait,
we use
what?
profanity like poop.
Caca.
Shakaka.
I had to go through all the fine print to find what like up to the bacon bikini level, and that's where I
Oh,
set
really?
it at. Yeah,
That's where you draw the line.
that's where I draw the line.
There's actually a check mark for a box bacon bikini.
There is now.
That would be awesome. That would be an awesome rating for streaming.
It would be great to get an
Bacon
email
bikini?
from YouTube saying, because of your podcast, we now had to amend our child
Yeah.
rating system.
Bacon bikini. It's between R and NC-17.
Oh, good lord.
That's one thing I noticed going live, though. There's no, like, you know how normally you have to click that button that's like, this is content's not for kids.
Yep.
You don't have to do that going live anywhere, I don't think.
You might, if
I
you
don't
use
remember.
their integrated.
Like YouTube's live.
Yeah,
thing.
right. So like Lightstream doesn't care. It's just like I'm gonna send to your feed and whatever. So the stream itself has a rating on it. Has a for kids or not for kids rating on it somewhere.
Definitely not for kids.
So anyway, I put that news article in the private chat that you guys should be able to see. Pretty rad story, if you ask me. Basically, this dude, he used to be in the military. That's why he's in Alaska, because nobody else ever wants to be in Alaska, according to me anyway.
They pay you to live there.
Yeah, they do?
Yep.
So he wanted to go out wheeling because he was trying to basically meet more people, and he's into off-roading and whatever, and he's out, by this glacier in, I think he said Fairbanks. Was it Fairbanks? I did. I promise I read the article.
Spark notes.
And I guess he was too, like, there's a certain safe thickness, of course, of the ice, right? And the lake itself was thick enough. But this glacier that's on there, the closer you get to the glacier, the thinner the ice gets, because the glacier is, of course, slowly moving because it's a glacier. And he didn't know that, right? So he's out there with his girlfriend, and they're just like getting pictures with the glacier, right? Because that's what you do when you're next to a glacier, I guess. And they like get back in the Jeep to go, and he hears this crack in the ice, and he knew exactly what it was, and he's just like, "Get out of here!" And he starts moving, and sure enough, back end of the Jeep falls right into the water. The only reason it didn't sink, apparently there was ice beneath the ice, like an extra floating layer of ice underneath there, and the Jeep hit that. But I mean, obviously that can move and whatever, so at any minute the thing could have slid into the water. I guess it sat overnight. It was Monday when they recovered the thing, and there's a video in the article I linked. Maybe I'll put it in the chat here so people can see it.
Yeah, the inside of it is just full.
There's a video of the recovery, and it's like there's like 4 rigs attached to it at different angles with winches, and one guy's got a strap, and the guy with the strap is just like railing on it every so often, and the guys with the winches are tugging to keep up the slack. And then apparently what you couldn't see off camera was that all of the rigs that had the winches on it were also anchored to other rigs in case the Jeep let loose and fell into the water. Right? Pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, I can see five Jeeps in this one picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the video. I'm just got the video open right now, and there's a ton of rigs there.
Yeah.
That's just like, I don't know if you guys saw there a couple weeks ago, the Iceland one where they were recovering. I think it was a Dodge or a Ford.
Yeah.
1-ton truck. And that one went viral on Facebook. I think like 1 million views in like an hour or something like that. It was
wow.
Iceland.
So to get our subscription rate up, we need to start syncing our Jeeps.
Yeah, I'm not going that route. I mean,
I've got a blown head gasket and it's
hang
insured full. So
I think Kyle already tried this by breaking his axle in half.
Yeah, in a river.
In a river. Wasn't it a creek?
It was actually a river.
The story gets bigger every time he tells it.
It was like a low section of the river, and it's more rocky than a lot of water coming down it, so you can like kind of crawl right up it.
But it is part of a river.
Yeah, it's actually they actually shut the trail down because I guess a bunch of people trashed the trail. So
I hate that.
Yeah, you can't go out there anymore. But it was a really fun trail.
And then some guy dumped a bunch of gear oil into it.
Yeah, just right into the river.
Never happened.
Like terrible guy.
Can't believe he would do that.
What a jerk.
Jesus. Oh, man.
Very inconsiderately broke his axle in half right there in the water.
Dumping everything out into the water.
So I know I had been chatting back and forth via Instagram with Kyle. I got another hood for my Jeep because I want to do a hood louver and then I want to do a snorkel. And I was driving back because I bought a used hood for $45. Can't go wrong with a good deal like that.
Sure.
No.
And the southbound lane, I'm seeing multiple Jeeps as I'm driving back in my Grand Caravan, trying not to Jeep wave. And I see this 2-door JK. I swear it probably had like a 3.5-inch lift, but it had probably like a foot space between the stock tires and the fender. It was just it was just a monster. I was like, holy crap. It just looked really off balanced. Like
Yeah.
it wouldn't take much to, tip it over.
Uh-huh.
I don't get why people would do that to themselves.
Because he could afford the lift and not the tires yet. He's doing it in phases, man.
And budget build.
Yep.
Yeah.
Went to Cletus and Cars to burn them off.
Yep.
All right. Well, so actually, I kind of had a question. So I know I was talking with Nate earlier today a little bit about some topics and everything. What do you guys think of Warren winches, new and old?
I've got an 8274 in the garage for a reason. Or 8724, whatever it is.
8274. Believe me, I have typed that into many a search engine.
Yeah. I have one for a reason. I have an XP9 motor on it to give it a little bit more, I guess, grunt per se. I wouldn't trade it in for anything. It unfortunately doesn't currently work on anything I own, but I'm a big fan of the old Warren. And you start getting into these VRs, they're made in China. Like they're just, in my opinion, I've been through 2 VRs now, and
Oh yeah.
the Smitty built, right?
I've rebuilt or fixed a non-working VR already as well.
Yeah, I fixed my VR. I did a video on it recently where the top part snapped.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think that has something to do with made in China.
Yeah.
Well, it's the materials that they use.
Yep.
Oh, go ahead.
So what ends up happening is in China, my past life, I negotiated pricing with China, and what they do is they'll just like grab all kinds of weird scrap and just melt it down and make whatever.
Yep.
And even if it's high quality product, and I don't have a Warren myself, I actually have a Red Rock winch, and it doesn't really matter. They all do it over there. That's what their cost savings is.
Yep, 100%. It's actually why I'm been slowly trying to purchase a come up winch. I have a hard time spending that much money on what's not a Warren.
Yeah.
Are those made in the U.S.?
Come up is made in the U.S. Yeah.
Is it? What about Super Winch?
Super Winch is like I've never had any failures, but again, it's another like Princess Auto Harbor Freight winch, right?
Yeah, apparently Super Winch just got bought out anyway. They were about to close. I've been doing some research on winches. That's why we were talking about it. Me and Kyle and Mark. I really want a Warren winch. I have no winch at the moment, and I'm in the process of building a bumper, which there will be a series of fabrication videos coming to my channel about the process of getting that done.
That's the cardboard one, right?
Yep. That'll be the first in a series. The next thing is to get some steel and then start actually fabricating a real bumper and not just the cardboard one.
Cardboard's good until it rains.
Yeah, right. The cardboard's great until you need to put any pressure on it or it rains. But anyway, I would love to finish off the series by finally mounting a winch, but they are just so dang expensive. So I'm trying to look around to find either something affordable that's quality or maybe a used one, which is why 8274 comes to mind. That used to be the winch to buy and rebuild. Like you'd get a broken one for $500, and then because the entire thing is rebuildable, then you just fix it up and you'd have a great winch. But now even the broken ones are selling for $750.
What?
Yeah. Go look at eBay, man. Anything with the numbers 8274 in it is priced way up.
Well, and then you get the older ones. Like there's the ones that have the nameplate riveted on versus stickered on. And I know, like up here, if it's riveted on, it's a legitimate like original 8274, and that's the desirable one to have, right? There's no plastic parts. It's all steel. It's a good grease. It's a good motor. It's a good solenoids, right? And then I apparently come up might be made in Taiwan. So
I would take Taiwan over China.
100%, but
their quality product is much higher.
But yeah, I heard there's another podcast I used to listen to, and they talked pretty well of Super Winch. So I was looking at Super Winch, And yeah, apparently like early last year, Super Winch was like, "Yep, we're done," and then they got bought up by somebody else.
Really?
So I don't know if the quality's still there or not, but
Well, that is where the unfortunate thing comes into play. I mean, 9 times out of 10, somebody buys the name and they want to go as cheap as possible, but still keep the cost up or the price for the consumer. And it's super rare where you actually find somebody who buys a brand and puts higher quality into that brand than what it originally was.
yeah.
Well, and then you get the whole other issue. Like, there's fake ARB out there now. Like, what was that 2-3 years ago that they kicked a Chinese vendor, an off-road vendor, out of SEMA because they had nothing but fake products?
Yep.
Wow.
They're doing the same thing with the Warren stuff. I actually contacted Warren because I clicked on one of the links on Facebook. I was like, a Warren winch, that was a VR10 for like $150 or something.
On wish.com.
Yeah, Wish.
So that's going around, and it's actually worth talking about. So I mean, as folks who know me know, I work in IT, and I have sort of an ear for IT security and whatnot. So like scams and fraud and whatever are things that I can spot relatively easily. A Warren, in quotes, winch for $110 obviously sounds unbelievable, but here's what people are doing: they're taking a product like a Warren winch, they're putting up a scam site that looks almost like Warren's website, for example. The one I dug into was they were selling DSLR cameras, which of course I was interested in because I'd like a better camera for the channel, right? And they're selling supposedly Canon D80s for like $38.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, there's no way that's true.
Can I get a pallet?
It looked just convincing enough that it would draw you in, and the price is just high enough that you think, well, maybe it's just a really crazy, like, oh, they got a lot of defective ones and they're silver instead of black or whatever, right?
Yep.
But then when you dig into it, you find out that it's like they literally cloned Canon's website, and it's run by some like no-name company in China. And chances are, you give them your credit card number, and they're not going to charge you $38. They're going to drain whatever they can and run.
Charge you $3,800.
Yeah, right. So, yeah,
I usually, when I see sites like that, I go to GoDaddy and I do a who is.
Yes.
I see how quick,
right.
When was this website address, registered originally?
So in the case of the Canon site, way down at the bottom of the page in like a really tiny print, there was something about a copyright, which didn't look right. In fact, I think it was copyright for Canon, but the site was obviously not Canon's. So they had tried to copy Canon's site. They changed the logo at the top so it didn't look obvious. But at the bottom, there was still this little copyright text. And it's like, well, Canon wouldn't copyright a site that isn't theirs. They've obviously scraped Canon's site, and they just didn't take the copyright out. And you're right. The domain registration was like 2 weeks old or something. It was to some name that was obviously not Canon. And there were just all kinds of crazy things going on. But to the average person who's just looking at the site, they're not going to notice that kind of thing. They're not going to know to go look up a Whois record. Of all of us on this podcast, who knows what a Whois record is?
I've heard of them before, but
right. So, like, just think of the average person who's not going to know to check that kind of stuff, right? So,
yeah, I mean, it's amazing what the scammers can do to just the basic individual trying to get into anything.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy, and the amount of scams and fish that we've seen over the years that are just convincing enough that they catch, and they only got to catch a handful of people. They make some money, and then they scrap it and start a new one.
Oh yeah,
look at all your robocalls and your fake election ads, and it's a matter of time before everything you click is going to be, can I trust this?
Oh,
yes,
yeah, I'm kind of at that
basically
point now.
that's where we are already.
That's where it's getting. Yeah,
I mean, I only go to trusted sites, and if I see a really good deal, I want to check it out. I want to take a look. Is there potential, of a VR, 10, 12 being, $400 or $500 potential, but is it gonna, really happen? No.
But is it going to be $100 is the thing, right?
Right.
So literally, I was looking at the VR 8, I think, earlier today, and it is $450 if you don't add any options, right? So if someone listed that for $150 or $200, like that might be believable
if it was used.
True.
Right. Well, no, not even used, right? So, like, you go to like an Odd Lots or I don't know, whatever big box stores you guys have in your regions, where they get like misprints and they get overstocks and they get whatevers, right? And they sell them for a third of the price of what you would buy retail. Well, imagine applying that to a $500 Warren winch.
Costco's a primary example.
Yeah.
They'll take a winch that was $800, sell it for $350, $400 because
Yeah.
they bought 1,500 of them, right?
Exactly.
But the problem with them, because the company I used to work for, we did pallets of product for Costco, is they'll take a look at your product and go, you need to change this, this, and this. I mean, by the time you're done, the product is 95% changed.
Yep.
So even if Warren walked in there and said, hey, we want to sell at Costco, that product on the inside would be so far different than just one that you would pick up at, let's say, Quadratech or ExtremeTerrain.com.
Well, it's actually it's funny you mentioned that because I have the Snap-on LED lights from Costco, and then I have an actual Snap-on one from Snap-on, which was like 5 times the money. You tear it apart, they're totally different products.
Yep.
Exterior, they are the same, but internals, 100% different. And I noticed it just off the light output when I first started using it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't like it was more blue, and then it seemed like it was more washed out. It wasn't pronounced.
Have you guys ever seen what's it called? There's a Canadian guy. He's absolutely hilarious to listen to. Oh.
Me? Yeah.
No, yeah.
I was waiting for it. I'm like, it's coming.
Yeah.
He's
So-
like, you talk about me, man?
Well, you are pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. But oh god, no. But he runs the Canadian kind of slang to a T, and he's like, I guess like an electrical engineer. And what he puts Snap-on against Harbor Freight's.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, I've
I
seen
know who
that.
you're
Yeah.
talking about. What's his
Yeah.
name?
Oh, I can't
I
remember.
haven't seen it.
Oh, he's hilarious because he just
Yeah,
sits there.
I'm picturing the video where he's got the 2 impact guns
Yep.
fighting each other to see which one wins. I can't
Yep.
remember
Oh,
the
wait,
guy's
wait, wait.
name.
Yeah, no. I know who you're talking about. That's right. Yeah, I've seen those.
Yep.
That's Ray. It's
But
Real Tool Reviews, isn't it?
I think so.
Could be.
Yeah, because the DeWalt's always burn out.
Yeah, it's that or it's AVE. I can't remember. It's one of those two. I watched both of those channels.
I guess with power tools, when you're working on whether it's your Jeep or even anything else, which brand do you prefer? I'm a big fan of Milwaukee, and not because I live in Wisconsin.
I'm a Milwaukee guy as well, but that's because I have access to a very good discount at work.
For me, it depends on how much I'm going to use the tool. Like if I'm going to buy a grinder that I'm probably going to end up burning up, I'll go to Harbor Freight. If it's something precision, I'll spend the money.
Believe it or not, I mean, most of my stuff is Craftsman, just because.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not a bad
Like
thing.
the old stuff or the newer stuff?
So my hand tools, well, not all of them. A lot of them are like 1990s Craftsman. Like all my
When they
wrenches and
say
ratchets and
forged
stuff.
in the U.S., I've
Yeah.
got those.
But I lost a bunch of my tools when I was out wheeling once. I like pulled the toolbox out on the trail to do a thing and forgot to put it back in the Jeep. So I had to replace a lot of it in like the early 2000s, and some of it is the chintzier stuff. Like I have a ratchet. For whatever reason, the newer 1/4-inch ratchets just do not hold up. The spring mechanism inside just fails. So I've had to replace a couple of those with some other brand. But yeah, I mean, it's mainly because that's what I had when I got started, because it was like a good middle of the road price point for tools. It wasn't the Snap-ons, but it wasn't like the Chinese forged out of gumball machine stuff.
Here's a token, little boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of my tools, like for power tools and stuff, are Ryobi actually, and I really hate them because their batteries don't last, and there's always something going wrong, and I have to replace the batteries, and they're not cheap. I've been able to revive a couple of the batteries and shock them back into life because they have this thing where if they get too low, then they won't hold a charge, and they won't the charger doesn't recognize them, so they just don't charge, and you kind of have to shock them back into realizing there's actual juice in them.
That's fun. Looks like we got the Jeep Kitchen joining. I don't know. You probably got to add him to the stream there.
Did I
or-
not?
No, he's added.
Yeah,
Is
he's
he?
added.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was gonna say I see
I
him, but
can't
he's
see it because I have too many things. I have the chat window blocking it. All right. So cool. Welcome to the stream. Except you're muted, Jeep Kitchen.
What are you frying up?
Up and
he's gone.
Thank God.
And scene.
that was quick.
So in usual fashion, give me 5 minutes because I got to go check that my pulled pork isn't burning itself.
Don't rub it in, man.
Oh,
don't rub it in.
you need
Aren't
to
you in
rub something
Canada?
into the
Shouldn't you
pulled
be like
pork?
frying bacon or something?
Yeah. Today, guys,
As long
I'm
as
gonna
it's
do
not
a
at the
taste
pulled
test
pork
right
thong.
on the channel. It also sponsored by whiskey.
I don't. Is Canadian whiskey really a thing?
Oh my God.
Yes.
This, if you can order Gibson's, it is the smoothest whiskey you'll ever have in your life.
Okay.
Like I will put that out there. If we ever go for a drink, I'm usually the guy that brings 2 cases of 26ers, or what do you guys call them?
24 pack?
No, what
Beer?
do you guys call a 26 ounce?
Oh,
750
you're talking about a 40?
No, 40. Yeah, I have 40. This is a 26 ouncer. But
In the U.S. we have 40s. In Canada, we've got 26ers.
we got Mickey's 26s, 40s, Texas Mickeys, a 66, an 85. There's a couple different varieties. I drink a lot of whiskey. So
This could be a podcast all on its own.
Yeah, I didn't picture Canada as a place to get whiskey. Is all.
Yeah, no.
Not at all.
Amazing.
Go check your Canadian pork.
I will be right back.
And stop rubbing it in.
So yeah,
right.
no, I'm super lucky, and I've actually got my son. He has a friend where his dad works for Milwaukee, so I get to take advantage of the friends and family.
Have you got a Milwaukee Portaband by any chance?
No.
Can you get us all Milwaukee Portabands at a cheap price?
I actually have one at work. I'm trying to get him to let me have.
Boy, this Portaband
good
looks
luck.
like it's worn out. You guys should buy a new one and
Well,
just
'cause
leave this one in the dumpster.
We have
wink.
a steel warehouse that I'm in charge of, and we store all our steel. I work for Ruger, the gun company, and
nice.
we store all our steel up in this warehouse, and we just kind of lease space there. And we used to have the Milwaukee, but it was a plug-in one. So I have to cut test samples to bring to the lab so they can test it for hardness and make sure everything's in spec before they make a gun out of it so it doesn't blow up on anyone.
Good. I'm glad to hear that they're doing that testing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
always a positive.
It's very important.
Glad to hear that.
So we used to use that one. It was a pain because there's not too many outlets. This is an huge old factory. It used to be a Cone Blanchard machine grinding company. And so it's always hard to find an outlet. You'd have to have like 100-foot extension cord. So I got them to buy me a battery operated one. And it's a DeWalt, and it works great. And it's just the same. But we just had that Milwaukee one.
Now you have the corded one sitting around.
Yeah,
just
so
waiting
I'm
for
like,
someone to give it love.
Those things are still pulling a premium used. Like
Yeah.
it's like they're still over $300, almost $300
Yeah.
used.
yeah, and it has the case and everything. I'm like, come
'Cause
on,
they have
just
the-
let me take it home.
Because they have is that the 18 or the 24 volt model?
For the DeWalt one?
No, for the Milwaukee one.
Well, the Milwaukee's a corded one.
No, I'm just saying about like the
oh.
newer ones.
That actually brings up a good point. How do you guys feel about battery operated tools?
Love them.
It all
Yeah,
depends.
hit or miss.
Hit or miss.
Because like I had an angle grinder from Ryobi that was battery powered, and you'd use it and it would kill the battery super quick.
Yeah.
But then like a corded one, obviously you have constant power. So if you're doing a lot with it, I would say a corded one over a battery powered one. But a battery powered one is nice to have that convenience of not having to trip over a cord, or if
Yeah,
you're using it on a trail or something.
I've got a cordless drill that I've used for like renovations around the house, which is like nice and convenient to be able to just like throw it in my tool belt and put up drywall, right?
Yep.
But whenever I'm working in the garage, I always grab for corded stuff just because I don't want to have to worry about the battery being empty 20 minutes into my job. You know what I mean?
Yep.
See, and I have the fuel stuff, the Milwaukee Fuel, and that stuff. It
That's
doesn't
the best
really
stuff.
doesn't use a
die.
whole lot of battery, and
No.
man, that stuff's got kick.
That
you can
impact
knock it just
driver.
out with the impact.
Maybe that's the thing. Like, I also don't have a battery operated impact. I have an air impact, and I have air in the Jeep, so I can use the impact on the trail, right? So
when you switch to a Milwaukee 1/2-inch cordless impact,
there's no going back.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
used one a couple of times, and I need one now. I need one in my life.
It was one of the first tools I bought because I was like, breaking lug nuts, sure. And then like
Breaking off.
Thinking, well, that's just it, breaking off. I wasn't thinking, and I was trying to take them off. We were in Moab wheeling. Put it on. I'm going to take it off while I'm hitting the on, and then snap. I'm like, okay, off, and I'm like, oh
no, I just broke a lug nut.
Exactly.
Broke a lug.
And like my snap-on air impact doesn't break them off. Granted, my air compressor is way undersized.
But yeah, the one that I've got has 3 settings on it, 3 different, 1, 2, and 3. So when you go to 3,
it's coming
it's got
off.
some kick.
Yeah, it's going. Yeah.
Yeah. Taking off tires, it's like toothpicks.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw my Ryobi one in the trash and get a Milwaukee, but they're quite a bit more expensive.
Milwaukee, you're listening, right? We all want.
Come on, we need sponsors.
Yeah, right. Give us some sponsorships.
Hey, we all do reviews, video reviews.
Right.
I've got the
Sponsor the live stream, and we'll just have like little logos in Milwaukee everywhere.
Oh, I'll have a banner behind my desk immediately.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll wear all their swag. Are you kidding me?
Like a big white refrigerator. I can put Milwaukee all over it.
Need some stickers to fill it.
Where is your stickers? All your beer fridges have to be covered in stickers.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I want to get an air compressor. I want to get something that I can do. I guess, what does everybody have for an air compressor? Because I've been looking at getting one. I've been hawing around. I've been looking at Husky. I've been looking at Cobalt. I've been looking at California. And I thought, so we have a hardware store called, it's kind of like Home Depot or Lowe's. They're called Menards.
Oh, yep.
And they've got their Menards brand, which is called Max Force, I think it is, or I can't remember the name of it.
I'm not even sure if I know the name of the one I've got.
So when it comes to CFMs, do you know what yours are running?
So my 230 volt Auto, which is my version of Harbor Freight, my 230 volt, which I don't have hooked up right now, it's up there. It was running my plasma before I sold it. Like no downtime whatsoever.
Because I want to be able to do a little bit of spraying. Because I was thinking about, last week when we were talking about the Herculiner, all of a sudden now I'm wondering about just doing a roll-on with Project Night Fury instead of doing the Raptorliner spray-on. But you need to have, a decent compressor. And it doesn't always matter how big the tank is. It has to deal with how much constant CFM is happening.
Yep.
So my big one is 18 CFM at 90 PSI. My little one's 3.5. So
yeah.
And my 18 would paint a vehicle. Like without a doubt, paint a vehicle.
Would it?
Yeah.
See, and I don't have 240 in my garage, and I need to run 240 out there.
Like, how far is your garage from? Like, is it attached?
Yeah, it's attached.
Like any electrician, like up here, we're
problem is I've got 2 circuit boxes, and they're both filled.
So you just run a sub to the garage. I just did that.
That's what I'm gonna have done.
Yeah.
So like you're looking in the sub range, like up here, I'd spend to do a sub panel with 240 with a 60 amp. I'd put a 100 amp panel in, would only run 60 amps up. I'd be like $400 with cable and install.
I think that's roughly what I spent. Cable, box, everything. I mean,
really?
Yeah. It was worth it, man. I'm telling you.
It's way cheaper than a person realizes. Now, if your garage is detached, it goes up exponentially.
Oh yeah.
Because they got to dig.
You got to trench. You got to
conduit all the way out.
Yeah, and then not to mention, like there is permits involved too. Like if an electrician walks up and says, "Hey, I'm going to just do this without a permit," if you ever want to sell the place, like up here, I have to get a permit. If I want to sell the place,
we do too.
I have a permit. So
yeah, don't say this office This doesn't exist.
The whole world just
This
saw.
is all green screen back here.
I believe it. Don't you see mine?
That's impressive.
Yeah. Did you accidentally dump some bleach in it? But yeah, I was also looking at doing, going with, doing 240 out there because I want to put a hot dog heater in as well. I was doing some work this past weekend. Latest video I was doing, I was like, I'm getting too old for this cold. Just too old for this.
I'm the same way. I actually for years and years worked in a cover it tent, and I braved the winter and it sucked. I finally bought my own house. I got a garage. One of the first mods I made was it was I think a 220 heater, and it doesn't get toasty, but it definitely takes the edge off. So
like to the point where you just a long sleeve shirt or a sweatshirt and you're good.
Yeah, long sleeve shirt
where you can't see your breath anymore, right?
A little warmer,
just enough.
Little warmer than that, but
yeah.
It was totally worth it. And then actually because I did that and I ran the line out for it, it showed me how I could run 240 out to the garage, and I just pulled the wire, and
yeah, I'm going to talk to an electrician this summer and have it done, because it's one of those things when you start looking at certain pieces of equipment, you can get away with the standard wall outlet. But if you're going to start doing some of the stuff that we do,
mm-hmm.
it only can last for so long. And you need to start, upping the abilities of your equipment.
Well, go ahead, Joe. Yeah.
We talk about like 110 versus like 240, right? Like 120, my bad. It's always measures at 110, but my welder, my Rebel that I use, it's a big welder. It's a fabrication welder. It's actually really awesome because it is 110, 120 or 240 in the smart sense. Like there's a small adapter and I can run it on anything. And the nice part is I've tested it and I welded the other day 2 half-inch pieces together with 110 volts.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now,
yeah, my Yes welder that I recently got is pretty good on 110 because I don't have the 240.
People underestimate the technology of welding right now. Everyone assumes you automatically need 240 volt. 100%.
Well,
if you need that deep penetration, 100%.
There was a very long time where the only decent welders you could get were 220 or 240, whatever.
Yeah, yes, 100%.
Yeah. And I bought my welder back in that era, so I've got a 220 welder.
I mean, my Hobart 140 claims to do a 1/4 inch on flux, which I don't like pushing the very boundaries of the welder. I like to have a little bit of capacity left in it. That's ultimately why I went upgraded to a 220 or 240. Sorry.
Your Hobart 140 will do 3/8 with ease.
I actually agree with you. I think it was definitely understated because I did 1/4. I did a 1/4, and I had pretty decent penetration. Granted, I had to, work the flux a little bit and keep it hot and even do a little preheat. But after that, it was burning pretty good.
Yeah, well, flux burns hotter anyway, so you're going to get better penetration with it.
Yep.
The other thing is like if you're scared of not getting the heat, preheat your product. We all own a torch, right?
Yep.
So get the impurities out of the steel, as we say, right?
Yep.
And clean it up and preheat, post heat. I guarantee you're going to get a better weld in when you want that structural. Like when I welded all my motor mounts on my frame, which are still holding up with all that about mid 500 horsepower.
Always about the LS.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's like, do you ever listen to me wheel? It's like I'm just in low range for a reason, just so I can hear it sing.
Your thing.
This is a song of my people.
I got to tell you, I don't know if it was the audio or the way you filmed it, but your intro video that you did the other day, when you ripped by on the LS, I was just like, oh my God, that sounds amazing.
That's a roadie mic on my DSLR, so it really helps a lot. But yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I love my Rode mic on my DSLR. It picks up so much exhaust sounds, and it just changes the whole dynamic of the video.
Just this little video micro that I got for my GoPro improved the sound quality so much.
Oh, speaking of GoPro mics, Did you guys see the new GoPro 8 mod with the mic built in?
No.
Oh, I think I saw that like little cage thing that sits on top.
I saw one in person, and the guy was doing testing, and he's getting as good a quality with his little GoPro mic that looks like it's a millimeter, maybe 2 mils, as good as his Rode that he had attached to his GoPro before, which is amazing.
Wow.
GoPro mod. I'll throw a link in the chat of the guy I follow.
Listen, I'm not about to buy another GoPro now. I've got the 7.
No, I
The 7's got to last me a while.
I don't have any. I've got the cheap action cams, but I
Yeah.
don't even use them anymore.
I have a cheap like Hero with the LCD, and that's kind of getting on its last leg. So
like I said,
So instead of a Hero, it's a Euro.
yes,
It's HIRO.
I rock
Yeah.
Megan cams and GoPro 3s and GoPro 4s. So I just threw up a link though to this guy's channel, like with the video. I was blown away, and then one of my buddies, a big GoPro guy, he's got everyone from now to current, like from the start to the end, and he had one of these media mods, as they call them, and unbelievable what GoPro's coming out with on them.
So this is like an actual, like official GoPro thing, or is
Yeah,
this like
it's
some hack
actually
somebody
an
came up with?
official branded GoPro setup.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, GoPro's all about the aftermarket. They figured out that once you buy this thing, you need a frame for it, and then you need a tripod for it, and then you need like a gimbal for it, and yeah, they figured that out.
That's why Insta360, like they're trying to now compete with these new cameras called like Insta360, which I have one on order just for trying.
yeah, they look pretty insane. Those Insta360s. You could choose what angle you want. So you set it like on the roof of your vehicle, and you can choose if you want the front, the back, the side.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
like,
The 360 camera, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
What is it called? I haven't seen it yet.
Insta360.
Because
I've seen
I
it.
bought one for the sledding, so that way I can literally, while I'm editing, I got to look at the camera, focus the focal point.
479
No,
bucks.
my camera's over here.
You actually look like you're producing back there, like you're telling,
Yeah. So
like,
See, and
it's like
Things
you're running
aren't
a board.
cheap.
No, they're not.
Well, there's a 4K one listed here for only $300.
yeah, man, they're cheap and they're the quality. Like everybody that's coming out with them are saying they're absolutely amazing, and it's their full-time GoPro replacement. And I haven't heard that in years.
Interesting.
I'll have to take a look at that.
So
As
I
long
got
as-
one on order. I'm hoping to see it soon. Being in Kazakhstan, where
I've never heard that one.
You are not the first Canadian that I've heard say that.
I don't even want to get into details about it because it's yeah. I hear people complain about Trump, and I'm like, take Trudeau, please.
So this thing is fully modular?
Fully modular. If you want an extended battery pack, they'll have an extended battery pack. If you want a fisheye lens, you're gonna get a fisheye lens. If you don't want the rear display, you're not getting a rear display. It's unbelievable. It's like that cell phone that somebody was coming out with there a few years ago that said, "Hey, you want a better camera? You're gonna get a better camera."
Oh,
you mean
I know what
the-
you're talking about. I forgot what the name of that was.
Yeah, it was like a Lego of cell phones. I
Yeah,
remember that.
Google
And it
had
did
their
not
hands
take
in
off.
one. What did they call it? Project Aria, I think it was. That's what
Aria.
originally what it was called.
Yeah, Project Aria.
Yeah, where all the little snap pieces, like I want a new camera, click. I want an extra battery, click. Yeah,
So,
Pretty
and,
cool.
Like my feeling with Project Aria, unfortunately, what happened was, like, this is an S10 Plus. Like, look how thin it is.
Yeah.
When my
Aria
came
couldn't
back
fit that.
my buddy came back from Brazil, and he had picked one up while he was there, and it's twice as thick.
Yeah.
So, I think great concept, poor execution, and then on
Well,
top of that,
I think it was ahead of
Samsung-
its time. Was the problem?
oh, absolutely. Like if it's
Because-
not Samsung, if it's not LG, if it's not Apple, people aren't buying it.
But I mean, Google was backing that. That could have
Google
turned
was-
into the next Pixel.
It
think
still
Google
could.
tried to, but it didn't work out, right?
Yeah. Right. So I mean, the problem is the technology's not quite there yet. But as with most technology things, the fact that they tried and the fact that they had some success, even though it wasn't a marketable thing, means that now it's on the back burner in some lab somewhere, and someday we might see it again.
Oh yeah, they'll
I
pull
hope
it
so.
out real
I hope
quick.
so.
I mean, look at the flexible displays that they've been showing.
Yeah, on my other podcast, which is a technology related one, we've covered all of the fails of the Samsung Galaxy Fold.
That's a hot mess.
The $2,000 phone that they've tried to release twice, and now they just gave up and refunded everybody's pre-orders.
Did they really?
Yes, they did. That's the latest news. They refunded everyone's pre-orders and said, we're going to ship it eventually, but we're just going to stop letting you guys wait for it, and you can buy it when it comes out.
So this not good.
This Insta360 also has a mic adapter and a wireless mic.
Yep.
Yeah, it's worth your money if you do not want to spend money on a GoPro.
Wow. No, I would agree.
It seems like the camera base is similar.
The other one, other than Project Ara, was phone blocks.
Yes, that was the other one.
Yeah.
I was picking my brain, like, which one is it? And yeah, phone blocks. That was it.
Because they're still a company. They're still in development, and I really hope they pull it off. Because you can't lie. Are you tired of replacing your phone every year or two?
Yeah.
Like it's worse than my camera. Like I've got my DSLR that's 8 years old and still in great shape.
I had a Samsung Galaxy S5 before I went to the S10. The lady at the cell phone place nearly passed out. She couldn't believe it.
How do you still have one that's so old?
I work for a healthcare company, and we've got doctors. New iPhone. I mean, every time that they drop, I got a new iPhone. I need some help setting some stuff up, and it's like, what was wrong with your old phone?
This is my Google Pixel that I literally bought, I don't know, 2.5 years ago. They're already up to the 4.
They're up to the 4, yeah.
Which I picked up just this Christmas.
It'll probably be an S15 or an S18 before I get another phone.
If you're that easy, my job has me. I'm not going to say it officially, but I might have a little bit of extra seat time.
So this camera can do 5.7K now?
5.7K, yeah.
I think that's including the 360, right? Is that
it's a 360.
Yeah. So you have to have a much higher resolution for 360 because it's 360. Otherwise, you get all pixelated crap.
So this thing is waterproof up to 5 meters.
That's pretty cool. So this is a 360 camera in the form factor of a GoPro. Is that kind of what I'm seeing here? And
but it looks like it still can do GoPro stuff, though.
Well, that's what I mean, though. Like, it's the size of GoPro, maybe a little bigger.
Because, the 4K edition only starts off at $300. That's not a bad deal.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Wow.
Because how much is the Hero? Because
the 7
that same price?
Or the 8?
The 7 when I bought it. When I bought the 7, it was $350.
Oh, $350?
Yeah.
Now, what are we talking about? I'm late.
Sorry, we're talking about cameras at the moment. I think the Hero 8 is at the same price point that the 7 was at when I bought it because
the Hero 8 Black is $400 right now.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
Yeah.
$529 Canadian.
Is that good?
What a ripoff!
It's only like $1.32 exchange rate.
It's all those Canadians.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
So speaking of cameras and phones, there's a really cool app that just came out. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the app Filmic Pro, but
I've got it.
It's an app for your iPhone that allows you to change the shutter rate, the aperture, the focus, all that. Well, they just came out with this new app. I forget what it's called. It's like Dual or something. It's basically so you can it's called Double Take. It's so you can record with 2 of your iPhone's cameras at the same time. It doesn't work. I have the 8 Plus. It only works on the newer ones like the 11, maybe the 10.
You mean the 11 that looks like a spider on
you have like 3 cameras in the back. But it's a really neat app. I was watching it. You can choose like whatever 2 cameras you want, and they'll record simultaneously. So you can record the front-facing camera and one of the back cameras. You can do the widescreen and then the close-up. It's really neat what you can do and kind of have multiple angles to be able to cut to in your video.
They have it on Android. I do wonder if it's the same quality as it is on iPhone, though.
Film.
I
Yeah, I
got
don't know.
that
I
on,
wanted
like,
to
one
use
of the
it, but I
Galaxies.
realized I couldn't use it just because it doesn't support the 8 Plus.
So like, would that be just Filmic Pro?
No, Filmic Pro is its own app, but this new app is called Double Take.
Double take.
Let's see if I can find Double Take.
Yeah,
I did
just
find
saw
Filmic Pro.
For the because you have Android. Yep.
Yeah. Like Double Take 2 words or 1 word?
It's one word.
Yeah, it's not on Android.
It looks like
Filmic Pro?
No.
Filmic Pro.
Oh.
it's that like red one on the bottom there, one with the 2 cameras, if you can see it.
No.
What is it called?
This is
Can
weird.
Can you use the focus on that?
Hey, it cost me $24 or whatever. I don't have any focus on this thing.
Hey,
So
this
I-
camera's rocks.
I
Love this
searched. I searched for Double Take, 1 word, in the Android market, and all I got are like
Double
dating
tap.
apps.
Yeah, I don't want to
Dating?
Yeah, they're dating apps.
Yeah,
Type
so
in
it's only
Disney
currently
Cupid,
on-
Black
it's only
American
currently
Cupid,
on
J-Swipe.
Apple.
It's like what?
Everybody's like, I just got into this 4-wheel drive stream and everybody's looking at their phone.
Yeah,
Like
right.
they're at a party.
It's just like anywhere else.
Just like anywhere else.
Just like anywhere else.
Jeep Kitchen, were you able to actually join with any kind of quality, or are you just sitting listening?
I can actually hear you now. I had to
Yay!
plug in and I'm wired to the TV. So if I move, I'm gone. But
don't-
I'm recording. Hopefully, this.
So how many
the
different
double thing.
wires and things do you have? Is it like a rat's nest?
Yeah. Everything's behind the TV.
So I think
Like it's.
because our chat's broken,
Oh,
Nice.
Oh my
Jeez.
gosh.
Blaine Getteret brought up what's called an S20 Ultra, and it's going to have a 108 megapixel wide camera.
Wow.
So I want to take a look at this. It's called an
Yeah, I want to
S20
take a look and
Ultra.
let me see.
Yeah. Here we are.
That sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
S20 Ultra.
Yeah.
S20 Ultra.
Oh,
That's not like a Galaxy
S20.
S20 because they would have skipped what 9.
10 to 20 they
Yeah.
literally went from 10 to 20.
they're counting by tens now. They're doing
That
metric.
looks like my wife's getting my old S10 Plus with a new screen, and I'm getting an S20.
There you go.
How did you break it?
5G. That means Huawei's involved. No thanks.
I don't
I have
know.
a guy
Not in
at
the US apparently.
I have a guy I worked with. He got the S10 Plus, dropped it on a garbage can, and it broke. And it was a plastic garbage
no.
can. He's like, oh. And we're like, what? He goes, I just dropped my phone. And I was like, okay, you hit the garbage can. And he's like, yeah, it broke the screen. I'm like, that little Rubbermaid garbage can broke your screen?
I tell you what, I usually when I buy a phone, I keep it caseless for a week or two until I like get a feel for the phone and figure out what I want in a case.
Yep.
And I had the Pixel
I
4,
can't.
like I said, I got it for Christmas time. And like, I don't know, 2-3 weeks after Christmas, I was out in the driveway working on something, and don't I drop the damn thing.
Oh.
Didn't break. It nicked the one corner of the case, like of the outer case. But I was just like terrified as I see it falling to the macadam driveway.
No.
A couple of years ago, we were at Disney. We were standing in line to see
The next day
Um,
after the order.
Santa Goofy, and these bunch of girls are talking. They're chatting it up. Bunch of teenagers. Girl drops her phone, picks her phone up, and she's like, ah! And everybody's like, no way. And they look at it, just like it was like if somebody took a beer bottle, and
Yeah.
just shattered it.
Oh my god.
She had no case.
I have to date. I have not destroyed a single one of my smartphones, and I don't intend to start now.
I hear you.
But it was close. That was not
Otterbox will save your phone.
Do
It's fine.
you guys take your phones with you to record when you're out, off wheel?
Yeah.
When
Yep.
you're
phone with me
off-roading?
all the time.
That just sounds
as-
terrifying to me.
As a
That's why
backup.
it's in an OtterBox. I should have just bought the OtterBox when I got it because I knew that's where I was going to end up. But yeah,
I have a super thin case. I don't even have an OtterBox.
Yeah,
And
I'm the
Yeah,
same.
mine
mine's just a
survived.
cheap Chinese.
I'm the same boat. Like I just tore it apart, and it's where is it? There we go.
yeah.
I've had a little too much whiskey.
Which hand is it in?
No, I
I was
hate
filming today. Give me a break.
I hate how thick. how thick the OtterBox made this very sleek phone, but the phone is impossible to live with otherwise because the back of it is glass.
Yeah.
It's like, who thought it was a good idea to make your phones out of a smooth surface that, like, literally holding it in my hand to make a phone call, it'd be sliding out of my hand.
Yep.
Whoever designed the phone, it was meant to be broken.
It's meant to be dropped.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Well,
It's marketing.
And then if you didn't break it, Apple or any of them would decide to slow your phone down so you'd buy a new one.
Right.
Or degrade your battery life on purpose.
Yeah, that's what usually happens is the battery life
they-
starts to dwindle.
They totally had a good reason for that. It was to protect you
Yeah.
Yeah.
from something.
So
Well, now with all the
Okay,
phones,
Apple.
you can't even take the batteries out anymore.
Oh yeah. No, I've been inside of too many smartphones and tablets over the years to fix this or that, and yeah.
Kind of
In
dusty
fact,
in there.
that Pixel, the Pixel that I was showing you, the original Pixel. What was it? Was it the screen? No, it wasn't the screen. There was something I had to replace in it.
Speaker.
I had to replace the speaker on my Pixel.
No, it was the battery.
Mine's popping.
It was the battery, right? So this phone, I used it for like a year and a half, and then the battery was starting to act up. So I bought an iPhone because I thought I'm going to try the other side of the fence and see how it goes. And I didn't really love the iPhone. So I bought the Pixel 4, but before I did that, I put a battery in this one to go back to Android for a couple months so I could like reacclimate. What do you want? You want to say hi to everybody? No, now you don't want to talk. Anyway, I had to pull this whole thing apart. There's no screws in it. It's all glue and everything.
Oh.
Is it really?
Yep.
Yeah. What a pain in the butt.
I will work on almost anything, but I pulled a phone apart once, never again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Way too many small micro wires, and I work with very delicate instruments to begin with, but I won't pull a phone apart again.
Yeah, I've got a Microsoft Surface Pro. The battery stopped charging on it, and I was thinking about taking it apart so I could swap out the battery.
It is a pain.
And I was watching these videos, and these guys are like, okay, so you're going to use a hairdryer or a heat gun and be really careful. And they're like, okay, we're going good. Snap. And then all of a sudden the screen just shatters. I'm like, yeah, I'm out.
No.
That's exactly what I
Yep,
had to
not
do.
for me.
That's exactly what
My wife dropped her Surface Pro, shattered all of it, gone, instant.
Oh,
I had to go buy her a new laptop because she was bawling her eyes out.
Yeah, I the Surface Pros I think are nice. They are nice, but I don't think they're the quality like a regular laptop.
They are
Because I ended up getting what did I get? An Asus now laptop, but way better.
No, I don't think. It's another case of technology not being caught up yet, right? For what we do, for the video editing and whatnot that we have to go through, I don't think a tablet, by today's standards, I don't think a tablet will ever do what I need. I need a full laptop. I need a full operating system. I don't care if it's Mac. I don't care if it's Windows, whichever one you prefer. You need a
Windows.
full operating system. You need a full machine.
I don't know how people are editing on their phone.
People
Yeah,
do
that
it.
blows my mind when they do that.
Like
I
the Rush.
don't know how.
I was gonna say, didn't I think Matt's recovery for the longest time? The guy who does the XJ recoveries out in Utah, he edited on his phone for the longest time.
I don't know. I mean,
He's a pro.
there are
He's got over
absolutely-
100,000 subscribers. Yeah.
There are absolutely people who today grew up with a phone in their hand. They don't care about a laptop because they're used to it. Did you grow up with a phone in your hand, Eric?
Yeah.
They don't care about having a laptop. So all they've known is computing on a mobile device.
So it's funny you say you couldn't do it with a tablet, but like Dell's new Latitude 3000, 5000, 7000 series are just literally a laptop, but just a tablet. So they have a docking station, and that's what I run at work is a rugged series, or will be running at work is a rugged series 7000, and it has the computing power to do most everything you'd ever dream of doing.
Yeah.
My Alienware it was 3 years old and it's awesome. It does 4K content, no problem, right?
And that's the thing with those newer devices with the Dell, they're jamming Alienware technology into those laptops.
Yeah.
Easily.
Well, listen, all Alienware was a high-end PC. They weren't anything special. They just had a faster bus maybe or whatever. They weren't.
No,
they were special because they were using better product.
They had pretty
were better
lights.
when they weren't
And
special.
pretty lights. I don't know. I use my homegrown built PC that I have. It's like a server case, and that's what I do all my editing on with the Creative Cloud.
That's my point. You could build what Alienware was selling yourself. There was nothing special about Alienware that you couldn't reproduce on your own.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a Ryzen 5 3600X waiting to get built right now. I'm going to do everything I ever want to do. It's just a matter of, do I want to spend the extra money on an RTX or just go with a 1660 Ti?
I can't even remember what generation i5 I have in mind. Because I was originally going to go with an i7, and then I said, nah, I need to cut back. And I built this thing we're talking 5 years ago. And this thing just cranking along.
Yeah, I find like with my Alienware laptop that I use for editing right now, it just doesn't, it's starting to slow down. Like it's still working great, but I notice almost any time I put 4K content in it, I go from 5 minutes up to 20 minutes, and you can hear all the fans at full speed. Right?
I had a MacBook Pro that I had actually gotten from my last job. When I left them, they said, we don't want the MacBook back because we were about to replace it anyway. Only 3-year-old MacBook. And it was a decent machine, right? Maybe 4-year-old MacBook. Decent machine. The problem is I couldn't edit 4K on it. Everything was choppy.
Yep.
So after I left there, I got a new job. I picked up myself the machine I'm on right now, which is a Lenovo Legion, mainly because through the new employer, I get a discount at Lenovo because, surprise, we're owned by IBM.
Well, might as well take advantage.
Yeah, so I picked up the Lenovo. Normally I would have bought a Dell, but I can edit at 4K now, right? But it's an i7. It's got like 32 gig of memory. It should last me a couple years, which is exactly what I was going for.
I did the same. I was on a MacBook Pro. I was 9 years old. I borrowed a GoPro 7. I filmed 4K and I uploaded it. And you want to talk about jamming that machine to a grind? Like I grind that machine to a halt. So I was like, oh, no 4K for me for a while. I actually ended up picking up a Dell. I think this is a Dell for $60 with an i7 processor, and then I picked up a $10 graphics card. That's what I'm on. So I'm like $70 into this thing. It's perfect.
Oh yeah.
You can always run proxy too for 4K footage, so you can actually edit it.
It didn't seem helpful.
I'm also in that boat too. That like when I start exporting, I really don't even want to leave the machine because I was burned too many times by Hit Film Express. Why I went to Premiere Pro was you'd start exporting and then 8 hours later, that's how long it would take with Hit Film.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, great software in what it was, but for some reason its exporting capabilities were terrible.
Yeah, it was more of a graphics than it is a graphics generator than an editor.
Yep. Yeah, no, and that's I still use it today. If I want to do anything with any kind of like graphics editing, like if I want to build myself a new title, I'll use it.
Yep.
But I can't walk away from a computer when I'm exporting anymore. Mainly, I'm afraid my computer is going to melt down.
Explode. Like a molten slag on your disk.
I got a fire extinguisher usually nearby.
Yeah, let the house burn and then build something better.
Go to Kyle's garage.
Yeah,
you should edit without
exactly.
Let him borrow it. Let him borrow it and do some editing and see what happens.
Keep the camera on the computer when I'm exporting to go viral.
Yes.
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Where do you guys store all your videos, or you just let them go to YouTube and be done?
Oh no, I store.
Yeah, I store.
Yeah. At this
Do you
point,
store raw footage as well, or is it just the final product?
I store all
raw
the source footage and the output. At this point, I have like 600 or 700 gig of stuff that I've saved from various whatever recordings and whatever.
I'd asked this question actually on Inspire, guy that he's a big basketballer. Inspire Media. He's a YouTube. His Facebook group's YouTube Entrepreneur Daily Tips or something like that. And I'd asked him about it, what he does, and he said literally fill a external drive up that's on like USB 3.0, and mark it when you're done. He's like, because I asked him, do you start fresh every year? He just goes until he's 90% full. He's found when he goes to 100, it starts to skip. And I think most of us would find that computers slow down as their hard drives fill. But
yeah, that's exactly what I do.
Being, again, in IT, I spent most of my career as a system administrator. So things like backups are important to me. The bare minimum rule of thumb you should have for any data you don't want to lose is to have 3 copies of that data. 2 of them in different locations. Wait, 3, 2, 1. The rule is 3, 2, 1. 3 copies of the data. 2 of them should be on different machines, and 1 of them should be offsite.
Yep.
Right? Is that how this works?
I think so.
So basically what I do is all of my data, all of my YouTube data, is when I'm editing it, it's on my machine. Yeah, I'm getting stickers on my face. You guys are laughing, right? It's on the machine that I'm on until I'm done editing. Then I copy it to a second machine that's down in my basement. That machine gets backed up to the cloud, right? So basically, if I ever need to recover any of that footage for any reason, I have it somewhere. The problem with the hard drive, the external hard drive thing, is unless you're taking those hard drives off to a safe deposit box somewhere, if, like, God forbid your house burns down, all that data's lost.
Yeah, you're screwed.
You can't get it back. Right?
Well,
And that might sound paranoid. Like how many people's houses
send
burn
them in
down?
to recover.
Sorry, go ahead.
You can still send them in to recover. It's just going to cost you.
Not if they're molten slag in the basement of your house.
Well, it's true.
Yeah, and then you say that, right? Like I've got my working drive, as I call it, my working external drive, and then I've got my NOS in the back in my server room, laundry room, server room, and that's got it's
my NOS is in there.
Yeah,
go
baby. Are you talking about those NOS drinks?
Yeah, no, network access server, right? So
no,
it's got 10 6 terabyte drives, which only works out to 5.
That's a network attached storage, by the way.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah. Whatever it is. I've got that in the background. So then anything that I do is duplicated to that. And then I do occasionally, all of my videos that are on YouTube are automatically sent to my Google Drive because I've got a subscription through them. So then that way I do have that access.
Yeah, I have Google Drive too. I have like 100 gigs or something, I think.
Yeah, but I just told you I've got 600 gig of data. So
yeah, that's way more.
I've got a 2 terabyte and 2 1 terabytes inside my computer right now, and I'm looking, and I don't have them all filled with stuff, but my 2 terabyte is my backup.
Let's see, I run pretty much my Windows on a solid state. I have a working regular hard drive. I think a terabyte, and then I store everything on a 2 terabyte external.
Yeah, so to make that better, if you subscribe to like some kind of a backup service, then, which by the way, and like no sponsorship or anything here, I found Spider Oak Backup. They encrypt everything. They can't decrypt it, so they don't even know what you put there. So don't be worried about putting like your bank data or whatever on there. $14 a month for 2 terabytes.
That's not bad.
The only downside is it took me 2 months to get all my data synchronized to it. Because it's so much freaking data.
Oh, wow.
Well, and you only have so much.
Hack the planet.
Right.
Oh, my God. Okay, here's another. Okay, so here's a random non-editing question.
Should we talk about Jeeps now, guys?
I'm trying to segue into a Jeep.
Are there
question.
people still even in the chat, or no?
They glazed over like me when it went to technical.
They're like, why are they talking about laptops and backups and what?
I thought this was 4-wheel driving, not 4-wheel laptopping.
So how about this? What is one of the biggest things that you see new people doing wrong when you go wheeling? Or something that they seem to always forget or don't do.
Sway bar.
Yes, the sway bar.
Airing down their tires.
I saw a video the other day. This guy, he's going through a pretty gnarly like crag, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, look at how awesome he's doing." I'm looking at it and I'm like,
"No cat
right there. Is the sway bar disconnected?" And I asked, no one responded. So I don't know if he didn't, and they're like, "Oh crap."
Not
or
using
what.
jack
But
stands. That's a great one by Blaine. One in the chat. One guy said not using jack stands.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Totally true, right? How often do you see somebody jack up a vehicle?
It terrifies me.
Yeah.
Yep. Jack
But, like,
stands every time.
I've got a speed jack that has a lockout on it, and I still throw a jack stand under it.
yeah.
Have you guys seen that video? Who was that? Was that Way of Life? They were doing something, and the guy was using just the regular jack that you get with the Jeep,
The bottle jack.
jacking it up, and they were working on the axle, and then the Jeep just fell in the parking lot.
Oh no.
Jesus.
Yeah, and they all jumped back, and I was like, yeah.
You're
that's
lucky
no
you
good.
could jump back.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they
the
got
leg.
super lucky.
I had one incident. I was out on the trail. I didn't have jack stands with me. I just had the jack. I had wheel chocks and stuff with me, but not a stand, right? And I think it was like there was a point where I was I replaced the rear shocks on the LJ, and those upper bar pins were just like a real pain in the ass. And I had one that was just not quite right. So I had like fabricated this weird thing to put up in there as like a faux bar pin eliminator, and it kept coming loose on me. So I'm out on the trail, and the thing came loose, and I had to do something about it. But the way to get to it, of course, was to get that tire off so I could reach where the shock was. So I put it up on that bottle jack, and I thought, all right, I'm going to get in, get out, done. We'll be fine. Well, I'm under there, and I see the Jeep start to move, and I'm like, oh shit, it's going to fall.
You're like, no.
I have not moved so fast in my life. I got out fast enough that I was able to stabilize it by putting my hand on the back of the Jeep because it was starting to drift backwards a bit. Put my hand on the back of the Jeep to keep it from moving. There was another person there with me, and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, the Jeep was moving. Help. So we got the tire back on it quick, and I did the fix with the tire on. So yeah, I've been there. It's not a good thing. I will never do that again.
One thing I learned with jack stands too is if it's warm out and you have a tar driveway,
Yes.
make sure you put something underneath it, because I've had jack stands sink into the tar and the whole Jeep starts to shift and you're like, crap, what do I do now?
Yeah, that's one of the things that my dad actually taught me when I first started working on cars, because he had a garage with cement floor. He's like, if you're in the driveway, always put something under it.
Yep.
And I'm like, no, there's no way it'll sink into there. Well, one time I think I put a jack on it, and it was like a hot summer day. The jack started sinking. I'm like, holy shit, the old man's right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy how much it'll sink in too.
Yep.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think a lot of people forget is tire chocks.
Oh yes. Yep.
I was terrible for it too. Like, so I took my rear drive shaft out, one of the two, thinking, oh, my park brake will hold me, right? And I was at the point, yeah, exactly. The driveway sloped, then straight into the street it went. Luckily, nobody was parked behind me, because stopping 6,000 pounds of iron sounds cool. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, hey, I did it on the trail with one hand.
Well, once that 6,000 pounds gets moving, it
gets moving, forget it.
Freight train.
And that's why I have a line lock now, right? My e-brake is only one button and it's on. As long as I have battery voltage.
Yeah.
Right? The roof shocks on your LJ sucked.
Rear shocks on any Jeep suck.
So,
Roof shocks
so
on
for,
anything sucks.
for any of you that don't know, Blaine's a friend of mine. He's been over to my garage many times. He helped me with those shocks. So he remembers the kludgy fix that I had put in place to try to get that shock in there. The only time I've ever had to get out a welder to put shocks on my Jeep.
That's always a fun time.
That sounds like an interesting situation.
I'm real excited. Tomorrow I get to drop my gas tank on my Jeep.
Which one? Cherokee?
No, the Wrangler.
Did
No, it's like a half a tank.
Oh boy.
What are you doing it for?
Well, because there's like a strong smell of gas, and I'm pretty sure it's the O-ring that goes like right where the sending unit seats down there. I heard those wear out pretty easily, and
So I'm going to tell you a story. Hopefully, it'll be short enough that we don't lose anybody. But
Don't blow an O-ring.
So last time we were on, actually, remember I was talking about how I had a fix that I had for the LJ where it would spit gas out when I filled it up.
Oh yeah, my Jeep does that too.
Right. So what I had to do was I had to drop the tank and disconnect all the lines that went to it. Blaine might have been here for this one, so he may comment. So we dropped the tank out, and I had to get inside the tank, and this rollover valve is basically this little spring-loaded valve that's on the inside of the filler neck, right? And it's spring-loaded like a plunger, right? And when you put in gas, the spring is weak enough that it folds in, and then the gas goes in. But then it pushes back out to keep it. So the point of a rollover valve is if you roll the Jeep over, this thing's already keeping the filler neck sealed, right?
Right.
The problem was that like the thing doesn't move properly anymore, and you have to basically sand down the little ridges, little fins on the thing. Well, of course, the way to get inside of the tank to get to this thing is to take the sending unit out, right?
Right.
So there's this compression ring around the top of the sending unit. I don't know if it's the same way in the JK or not, but a lot of gas tanks are like this.
Yeah,
you basically have to take like a screwdriver and you tap on it to turn it around, right? And then it pops out. You take out the sending unit, and you get in there with your arm and you do your thing. Putting it back in, I'm tapping the ring back into place. Doesn't the hammer slip and breaks off the inlet? I think it was the inlet or the outlet. The outlet. There is an outlet. Breaks off the outlet for the freaking sending unit.
Oh no.
Been there. I've done something very similar.
This was literally 4 days before the Jeep Jamboree that I was scheduled to trail guide at.
You're like,
I'm like,
JB Weld to the rescue.
$200 I just wasted because there's no way to put this thing back on. There's no epoxy or whatever I'm going to put on this that I'm going to be able to trust. So yeah, I had to go to Quadratec because it was the place I knew. Quadratec's in PA, just like I am. When I order something from Quadratec, I have it the next day, regardless of what shipping I pay for.
Yeah.
Go to Quadratec, I order a sending unit, I get it shipped to my house, I have it the next day, then I got to put in the stupid sending unit. What a pain in the butt. And then, what was it? One of the hoses on top of the tank didn't get attached all the way. So I'm driving to the Jeep Jamboree and I smell gas, and I'm like, oh shit.
What did I do
wrong?
Yep.
Right? I get there and there's literally gas dripping out of the gas pan, out of the pan underneath the fuel tank. So in the parking lot at AOAA here in PA, I had to drop the gas tank. Luckily, somebody had a floor jack with them. Like, who carries a floor jack, right? Well, one of the guides at the Jamboree did.
Got lucky.
Me and a buddy are dropping the freaking gas tank so that we can find out where this stupid leak is. Hasn't leaked since, though. I got it fixed. It's been fun.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I know.
I don't plan on.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, because you were talking about the floor jack, I'm not planning on putting the high lift jack back on. I'm gonna go get like a Harbor Freight floor jack.
Yeah.
And put that in my Jeep.
I know Bleepin' Jeep does that. He doesn't believe. I think on a Scorpion crawler, he has a floor jack and not a high lift.
Yeah.
I want a Pro Eagle or make my Harbor Freight Princess Auto one a Pro Eagle. I don't think I'm ever gonna rock my high lift anymore unless it's necessary. I get the point. Like I've got the ability to be a jackal and a come along, but it's still. I don't know. I've had too many slips, and I've got everything you could imagine. Like I've got the bottom part for anti-slip and snow, and I fight ice for what's going to be 6 months of the year. So you have to find something that works, right?
The high lift is absolutely a dangerous tool.
And
there is definitely a movement within the off-road community that say the high lift jack does not belong on the trail. I don't agree with that necessarily. I think it's just like a winch, just like a firearm for those of us that carry firearms. It's a tool that is dangerous, inherently dangerous, and needs to be respected. Right.
Let me tell you what, it helped out when I snapped my axle. We had two of them trying to pick my Jeep up to figure out what we were gonna do.
There are times that you just need a tool like the high lift, regardless of how unsafe it is. You need to know how to use it, and it's one of those things that you use sparingly, right?
I'm going to pull up a picture, and you guys are going to laugh your ass off because I have essentially a redneck 4-post lift with high lifts.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Do you guys have rednecks in Canada?
Are they called rednecks or are they like crazy Canucks?
Oh, my internet's slowing down right now. My daughter's watching some kind of movie on the internet. So.
Ah, man, don't you have like a Blu-ray player?
Tell them there's no internet tonight.
I'm not going to say I stream my movies. We'll put it that way.
Raspberry Pi.
So for reference, this was full.
Joe's getting loose.
I made a double of my old fashioned when I started, and now it's almost empty. That's 4 shots of whiskey.
Yeah, like that's.
I've tried whiskey. I can't do it. I don't know how you guys can.
It's delicious.
Buy,
Beer, man.
buy
The reason
Gibsons and you will never
Actually
complain about it again.
good
the reason I
whiskey.
drink old fashions is because they're generally served with ice, and when the ice melts, it waters down the whiskey.
Yeah.
They're all.
I used to drink a lot of 151 when I was younger. Now that I could handle.
There's also simple syrup in there.
That's lighter fluid right there.
I don't know why. It was good. I was able to do it. Me and my buddy, we would go through half a bottle when we were at the bar. We'd have a good time.
I am generally.
I remember that.
I tried brandy and I can't do that either.
Generally, it's craft beer for me. Whiskey is a nice change of pace every now and then, but usually it's craft beer.
I'm a margarita guy. It's just who I am now.
With some tacos.
Oh, nachos. Kyle, if I ever make it out by you, we're going to go for margaritas, tacos, nachos, and burritos.
Sounds like a plan.
And then I'm going to make you drive us to Moab.
Okay. I'm a fat kid, so I can eat.
Fat? Really?
You don't look like a fat kid, man.
I was going to say, dude,
I have a
you're
fat
probably
heart.
like the size of one of my legs.
Oh, I can't think of that damn park's name right now in Moab that I go to all the time.
It's down to the cherry.
They used to be a free to go to, and now they bought out by a private or by a company, and you pay for off-road park. Just look at
What do they usually charge for those things? You know, like when you go to an off-road park.
So like Moab's kind of neat.
The owner.
If that's just it. If it's private land, you usually pay by donation, right? So this one that I used to go to, we used to just donate as we wanted, right? So area BFE, that's the one I'm thinking about.
So, of the parks I've been to, Uwharrie National Forest, right, North Carolina. When I was there back in like 2002, literally it was $5. You drop $5 in a drop box and you wheel for the day, and it was like honor system. Nobody checked. Paragon, when it was still around, was like $50 a day, right? And then there was an extra fee if you wanted a guide, right?
Give me the map.
Yeah, well, that's what most people did. But right, when it's your first time there, you want a guide or you want someone that knows the park. Well, when I started wheeling there, none of us knew the park yet,
Right.
so we'd always hire a guide. And in fact, now I do trail guiding for the guy that we paid to be a guide when back in the early 2000s when I was wheeling at Paragon. Roush Creek here in PA, they have a yearly membership fee, which is
$50.
yeah, it's like I thought it was 70, but 50 sounds right.
No,
And then you
it was 50 and then 20 to wheel for the day, so it's
Right.
70 total.
And you wheel for the day, and then every time you wheel. So the membership is a year, and every time you wheel, there's still a fee. And some of them give you a discount if you wheel 2 days in a row. I forget if Roush Creek does that still, or if they did.
I don't remember.
They used to be. I thought it was like $35 for one day, and it was $20 if you did 2 days in a row or something.
Eric got younger.
Yeah, Eric got extremely younger.
Yeah.
I was like, the movie Big's happened in real life.
AOAA is
Honey,
like
I Shrunk the Kid. Honey, I Shrunk Eric.
AOAA is like $35 for a day for the driver, and then it's another, I don't know, 5 or 15 or something per passenger.
That's not bad.
Yeah, AOAA is awesome. I like that
Cheaper than
better.
Roush, and there's no membership, and you can buy a yearly membership to them, which covers you. You don't have to pay an admission fee if you go like 100 times in a year or 3 times in a year. It's the same price.
If I lived closer, I would do that.
Yeah, I've thought about it many times. Last year, I was at AOAA like 2 weekends a month because of guiding and then all the trips I was on. This year, I haven't been there much at all. But this year, it wouldn't have paid off.
As a Canadian, when I go to these off-road parks, it's awesome because people like me, you'll drop Canadian currency in, and then I'll exchange. They'll be like, "Hey, do you want to make an exchange for the Canadian currency?" But I'm at the later half, whatever they have, I'll literally trade for a little bit on my side, right? So like when I was in, or I do a 1-to-1 trade, right? So like when I go to BFE, they used to trade me their Canadian cash at a 1-to-1 ratio, which was awesome because I'd make up. And this is when the dollar was better. The dollar is no longer better.
Yeah,
but it worked out huge.
You can thank our leadership for that,
right? I'm just pulling up this picture. I'm on BFE. I figured out what was going on with my internet.
Was all that adult content you were downloading?
No, I had the live stream going, so it was killing my internet feed.
My knobs, man, it's running.
Receiving
It's running hot.
Yes.
Hey, it's driving my views. Just keep going.
Yeah,
Got any more laptops in the house? Just fire them up.
yeah.
Want me to throw it on the TV upstairs so my kid can get mad at me?
There you go.
Why are we watching these people talking about alcohol and computers?
Why,
That's
why
a Jeep thing.
Why are we talking about Daddy? Why are we watching Daddy when I can just go watch him downstairs for free?
There you go.
Oh,
Is it free, really?
Wait, this is free,
No.
isn't it?
attaboy.
Not the internet ain't free.
No, it ain't.
No.
So here's a random question. What do you guys think? Random question. What do you guys think?
Go on, please.
Okay. What do you think of bacon? No. What do you? All right. Kinetic ropes, snatch ropes, bubba ropes, whatever you want to call them. Has anybody had any use with them, or have you used them, or?
We just had to use them on recovering a dead TJ and JK on New Year's Day with 8 lug, and yeah, go buy one.
I
The thing,
have one. I just
seriously,
haven't used it yet.
I've heard very good things.
Find a reason.
Yeah.
Find a reason
Definitely
to
a
use
tree
it.
saver.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one of those kinetic ropes. I just started working with this company, Off Terrain, and they're out of the Pacific Northwest. I think where does it say there? I think they're kind of where. Oh, there it is, Portland, Oregon.
Was that beeping sound money that they're giving you every time you mention their name?
No, I don't know what
my
that
phone,
beeping.
Sorry.
That's awesome. How do
I
I
had-
get on that?
Ding, ding.
So
No,
there's
but
a made
I just
product
got
line?
accepted into their affiliate program, so they're gonna send me some of their products out, and I'm gonna put them to the test and see how they actually are. But they definitely seem like a good company and based in the U.S. So
That's pretty. That's what I need. I need someone to sponsor me and give me all of the recovery gear that I can't afford to buy.
How
exactly.
do you go about getting that?
The affiliate program?
Ask.
Ask.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like literally, I'm having success with one company now, and I was completely shot down by another. And I think it depends on who the company is, how big they are, and how much exposure they need, and how big you are.
Yeah, and like this company is like pretty new still, I believe, and they started. I was chatting with them some before, and then they offered up an affiliate program. A lot of companies like this have started. They'll post like, "Hey, we're looking for affiliate marketers," and you just fill out an application, and they may or may not select you. I mean, I've been selected for some and not for others. It really depends on your views, your subscribers. That they really do watch you and how much you post and how much you interact with the off-road community. It's not like you can just post a picture on Instagram and be done. You have to actually go on other people's stuff and communicate and talk with them. And I think that's how you can provide value for their company.
There's a couple of companies.
Sorry, there was a so there's a podcast that I have listened to. I think I mentioned this on the last cast. Now I think about it. It's called The Truck Show. It's made by Motor Trend. They talked about another podcast, which I put on my list of things to listen to, but haven't listened to yet. It's called Sponsored Rider. And it's basically all about how to do what we're doing and be sponsored in a way that actually makes you look attractive to sponsors, right?
I don't know if I could ever look attractive.
Yeah, right. So, like, it's really easy to be like, oh yeah, I've totally got a huge following on Instagram, and then go beg people for parts, and that's not necessarily the way to do it.
No.
It may work for some. You may have some success doing that, but eventually you're going to run into like a company that really looks. They really say like, are you actually going to be a positive light on our brand and not just a light? Right.
Right. I mean, I've reached out to companies saying, hey, I'm interested in being a brand ambassador for your product. Check me out. I'm on all these social medias. I currently have collectively this many followers. And a few of them have replied to me and said, hey, we've got a certain amount of followers you need to have on one particular network before, but we really want to work with you. Once you hit that number, contact us. We're ready to work with you. So it's that positive thing and just going, okay, here's my goal, run with it. Don't beg people because you're just going to just be kicked out.
And that's getting your name out there too.
Yeah, I think one key is to be gracious, right? Mm-hmm. Like if you submit an application and they're like, no, we can't do that. Even if they don't give you a reason, just be like, okay, thank you.
Yeah, reply with thanks. Thanks for taking the time to read my... Because sometimes they give you information back that you can use on your next letter to be an ambassador or whatever, that you're applying for. Yep. And then just make that your next goal.
I mean, these companies every day are getting thousands and thousands of emails saying, hey, give me free stuff, give me free stuff, give me free, and
especially
where are they
if they're
supposed to get out of it? Let them know what they're going to get out of it right away. Just don't say, hey, can you give me some free crap?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is providing more value than they're going to give you, because they're taking their company at risk anytime they're just handing out free products, especially these companies that are starting off. They don't know if you're going to just completely bash their company or if you're not even going to do a review and it's not going to help them at all. So that they're taking a huge risk. So anything you can do to make it look good, well, not even necessarily look good. If their product's a crappy product, then let them know it's a crappy product. But put the videos out there, put the posts on social media, and get stuff out there so you're not just making one Instagram post and saying that's good. Just try to do as much as you possibly can for them, because they're taking a risk with you big time.
Be respectful of them and their brand.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You are so critical on your own brand too, right? That's what you have to think about, right? Like when somebody says, hey, can I get a sticker? Like I've given out a sticker and I've had somebody complain to me about somebody else's driving, right? And then
because your sticker was on there, Rick.
I know it seems silly, right? But
it does, right?
That's what other people are looking at, right? So if you're working for a company and that's what you are doing, providing them a review for a product, you are working for that company.
Essentially, yep.
And the other
presentation is everything.
Yep.
The other thing would be
not a good idea.
I've been getting these, right? You get requests from what appear to be like shady companies, right?
All the time.
Or even like a company that maybe produces a product that you're not interested in or doesn't fit your brand, and all they're looking for is anybody to review it.
Yeah.
And you don't want to necessarily accept all of those.
Right.
Maybe there's something that's like, I don't know if anybody else gets these, but I get like on a monthly basis, I get a couple emails. They might even be from the same place. They make these phone mounts that mount in your cup holder.
Oh yeah, I've gotten a couple of those.
Like the ones on the arm with the thing, and I'm like, I don't want one of these. I don't care about these. I think they're a terrible idea.
Yeah.
I don't want it. I don't want to review it. I don't care if you're going to send one to me for free.
Well, then the other side of it is look at how certain YouTubers, like big YouTubers, were deleted this year. Like flat out deleted because they fell for a weird scam that looked authentic, right? So that's the other side of it. You have to.
Do you have an example? Because I haven't heard of this.
I didn't hear this either.
Hold on. So Life of Paulos was big on pushing for it. that's the supercar community side of it. So there was about 6 or 7 YouTubers just on the supercar side that were just flat out deleted and then brought back. And Google hadn't had to deal with that before. So these channels, like, I'm trying to think of the detailer's name.
There's always that one person that's got to ruin it for everybody.
No, and that's just it, right? So they, this is back in August, I believe, maybe even September. Hackers delete 3 major YouTube channels.
Ooh. And working with Google is not easy to get your stuff back.
Yeah, right.
I remember hearing about this.
So
just ask a certain channel about how hard it was to get his avatar replaced.
Yeah.
Did they
It actually went away again, and then it just recently came back at the end of this week.
I was going to ask you, it was gone for a little while.
Yeah, it just kind of disappeared randomly one day, and I had been like, I have a chain of like 1 million emails to Google having me try different things, do screen recordings, send it to them to try to get it fixed, and it was the biggest pain in my ass ever.
You think a company like Google has it together?
You would think.
They don't.
No.
No one does.
I think I talked to like 20 or 30 different people in this like email thread. I'm like, why can't I just talk to the same person? They're like, oh, well, we're going to switch you to our the manager of this, or the highest, we're switching you to the higher level priority or something. And it never got my emails responded to any faster or anything.
And then you found out it was EVS, the environmental service guy.
Yeah.
So the 3 channels that were deleted and they're back now is Troy Sowers, Pure Function, and Max Check Vids.
And this is just because they fell for some kind of a scam?
They fell for a scam. And like, you look at the email and there was like, the English was perfect. Everything was perfect about it. And they all had two-step authentication, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they all fell for it, which is crazy to think about. So then one of them was like over 10,000 subscribers, so you can get in the Google Lounge. Well, he couldn't even get in the Google Lounge because like, you don't exist anymore.
Right.
Like, and what's crazy about it is it's not just like, hey, we're just going to take over your channel, because that's typically what happens. They flat out deleted them. And then so Google hadn't had anything in the system to recover a channel that had been deleted. So they had to come up with something on the fly to fix these channels.
Wow.
How
I
in
can
the
just
world?
imagine some database administrator at Google like, what? Well, I'm supposed to do what?
Yeah.
That was never the part of the plan.
Well, you
Recover
would
it
think that
all.
they would have recovery over that because of just the type of business they're in. It's freaking Google.
Yeah, but
You
so
would think.
imagine, right? So like, imagine if you logged into Google today and you said, delete my channel, right?
Yeah.
Like, I want to delete my channel. I want it to no longer exist, right? You go and you delete your channel. Well, Google has a certain amount of responsibility to actually do what you ask them to do, delete your channel. So if they do that, if they say like, okay, your channel's deleted, and then they didn't actually do so, they just hid it or something, then if you came back to them later and said, why is my data still on your servers? They can be like, oh, well, we weren't sure if you really wanted to delete it or not. Or they can say like, well, we erased it like you asked us to. And then legally they're covered, right? Because they did what you asked them to do. So if someone broke into your account and did the same thing, Google has no way of knowing whether that was you or not, right? So
But Twitter,
I'm sure they're going to build some policy around how to there's now a 60-day window or something where
and
your
that's
data's
Twitter does 30
stored or
days. If you delete your account, you have 30 days to recover it.
right. But again, that's company by company. There's no law saying they have to do that.
Right.
It might be best practice.
No, but that would be best business practice.
Yeah. So personally, when I delete something, even like if the CIO came to me and said, delete this thing, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to turn it off. And then in 30 days, I'm going to come back to you and say, are you sure you want me to delete it? Because usually it's like, But
you have probably backup data that's, backup recoveries that you can go through, old tapes.
Yeah, for like 90 days.
See, and that's 90 days. I mean, you still
Yeah.
got a recovery there.
Right. But imagine if you're at the scale that Google is. You're talking petabytes of data. Keeping backups to that is a big job. Running
I mean,
Joe,
I get it.
you're muted, Running Joe. I see you talking, and you're like, nothing.
Running Mutant Joe.
Muted Joe.
Muted Joe.
Muted Joe. It's a play
Here
on
we are
words.
talking about
today.
technology again.
You talk about petabytes and then like the backups, but like that's why like everyone gets into the COPPA and then and it's a whole nother topic, right?
Oh, COPPA.
I know we're all super concerned about it because they're talking about
I
expanding.
thought it was Kappa.
Right? But so they talk about there's another play from Google that COPPA was so they could start to delete old content without really having the threat. Like, so now you're not a productive YouTuber. Why can't they just delete you? And that's not something that YouTube has done for years.
Well, that's what they should be able to do. If your channel is inactive for a certain period of time, that should be part of their policy. Hey, if you're inactive for, let's say, 12 or 18 months, sorry, your data's gone.
The harsh reality of all of us depending on Google to run this YouTube thing that we're all depending on, some of us for our income, maybe not none of us on this podcast, but people that, there are plenty of people that depend on YouTube for their income, is tomorrow Google could simply say that YouTube thing, it's not making us enough money, turn it off.
Yep.
And all the data's gone, all the income is gone. And they
go into business.
They have done it with other services.
We go into business, we make our own YouTube.
Yeah, right. Then we'd have to make our own. But the thing is, YouTube currently is the common platform. There are probably better ways to host your content, but there's no viewers.
Well, and it's funny you mentioned that because
Twitch.
That's why there's big YouTubers that have jumped off YouTube in the last year. Because of COPPA. COPPA's not just YouTube; it's every media streaming platform.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Yep.
But
yep.
The thing that riles me up about COPPA is this thing has been in place since the late 90s.
Yeah, but they just got fined. I
know, that's the thing, right?
It's because they lied.
Because the government was lazy.
Yeah.
Website administrators have had to deal with COPPA since I don't know when it was introduced, 1995 or something. It's forever. It's been there forever.
So there's other platforms that are now developing, like Storyfire is a primary example. Your big YouTuber like Boogie2988 jumped ship from YouTube for the most part because his content is aimed at a broader range, right? I look at my subscriber base, I look at my audience base, and I'm lucky if it's anywhere from aged 18 to 36 to 40, right? But his subscriber base is from 10 to about 28, right? So he had to make a change because he didn't want to get fined.
But eventually it'll still come around.
Is it really just because he didn't want to get fined, or is it just because he couldn't necessarily market to his demographic anymore?
Yeah.
There is that possibility.
Both.
Too, right?
I would say all the above.
Yeah.
And then other people are tired too. Like we are all post the ad apocalypse. Right?
Yep.
And if you read anything, YouTubers were paid much better pre the ad apocalypse. And now you're paid. We have a very niche market to begin with. So now you're paid based on the quality of ads you're getting, not just the quantity of ads you're getting.
Right.
Right.
I actually heard automotive YouTubers like us get better ad rates than a lot of other YouTube channels out there too.
We do 100%.
I believe it.
We do. Because your companies like Warren, ARB, your big name companies are realizing, hey, our company, our demographic is following Expedition Overland. They're following these guys on YouTube now. They're not looking at our installation instructions. They're looking at these YouTube. So why don't we advertise on that? They don't have to pay us now to demo their product. We're already buying it. So now they're now putting an ad on our video and getting paid on it. Right?
Yep.
Well, I shouldn't say my video because I'm not there at the moment.
But it's a win-win because now you get your install videos filmed, you get somebody promoting your product, and it's in front of, it's streamlined right to everybody that they want to see their products. So it makes sense.
Yeah, like pre-roll ads and stuff, you can market to like a very niche audience. Like you can get like within the certain mileage of their warehouse, or like only men ages 18 to 35 or whatever they want to do. So it's very beneficial to have it in front of a YouTube video, and they can even have it set up so say you're Google searching for winches, they could have it so next time you pop open a YouTube video, the first ad you see is a Warren winch YouTube ad, because they know what you're searching.
Just look at the ads during King of the Hammers.
Yep.
Oh,
King of the Hammers. Oh, baby. This next week is
Wish I was there.
oh my God.
I was this close to going. I had everything budgeted. I was like, here we go. I'm going to blow up, hopefully, off King of the Hammers. And I know a ton. And I say that because I've been to King of Hammers in 2010, 2011, 2012. We raced it.
Yeah.
That's what the engine is under my Land Cruiser. Is our old car 4502, the rental, our Jeep Comanche. But it's now at a point too, like you talk, like I'm in this like huge Hammers love right now, but I'm also almost over Hammers too. Like you talk about the commercialization of it, of a certain product, right? And I can tell you, I've watched 15 major sponsors change. Like it used to be Optima, or I think it is still Optima.
It's still Optima. They're really small on the bottom.
It was at one point, Odyssey, right?
Yeah.
So, but
I still follow it mainly because I don't follow like any organized sports. But King of the Hammers, I mean, it's like a whole week of my life every year where it's like I can just sit down and I can watch a bunch of people rock crawling, and there's like a whole bunch of other people watching it with me. You know what I mean? It's like the only real sporting event that I watch every year.
So next Wednesday is the big race for us, right? That's your stock class. That's where we can say Toyota versus Jeep, because that is where.
Oh, it's Jeep, hands down. Come on.
Yeah. Right.
You know who won the 4600 class last year?
No.
The Geo Metro.
No. No, it was a first gen Toyota pickup. He was on Sky Offroad Leaf Springs, but.
I think I remember that from last year.
Yeah, it was unbelievable, because then my buddies from Red Deer finished second, and it's the first Canadian finisher ever, and we've been going since 2010.
That's cool.
Like,
That's awesome.
Crazy, right? But
I wish I wasn't on the East Coast, so it wasn't such a far drive to get out there.
I know.
I
I'd
wish
be there.
There's a couple things on my bucket list. One of them is Moab. I want to get out to Moab, and maybe on a regular basis, like once I get out there once and figure out all the cost savings and whatever that I can come up with, maybe I'll get out there a little more frequently. And the other is to get out for King of the Hammers. Oh, and the Rubicon. I want to get through the Rubicon at least once.
Same.
Rubicon this year for me, August.
Yeah.
Oh, lucky.
I was supposed to go to a Jeep Jamboree up in Crandon, Wisconsin this year, but ain't going to happen.
Yeah, I just guide for the Jamboree. To be honest, and I don't want to like talk down on the Jamboree. For me, I think it's too much money.
Yeah, and it depends upon where you are, because the cost is different per area.
Yeah, I mean, the Jamboree I guide for, I want to say tickets are like a couple $100.
Holy!
But it covers everybody in the vehicle.
It covers everyone in the vehicle. You get a banquet, but I don't think
you get 2 meals a day.
Yeah, right. So you get breakfast and you get a bagged lunch and you get a banquet in the evening every night. Yep. There's an awards ceremony at the end where not awards, but there's like a closing dinner where there's raffles, so you have a chance of winning stuff. So I understand where the cost comes from, but I can go wheel the same park myself for $35 a day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Probably smaller lines too, right?
Yeah, right. The park's not overrun. You're not waiting in line. I mean, we do a decent job as guides to make sure there's not a traffic jam on the trail. We coordinate with the other guides and whatever, but the park that we guide in is open to the public too. So on Saturday of the Jamboree, you get like a bunch of folks on ATVs and Jeeps and whatever just cruising around the park, and traffic jams happen. And people understand that, but whatever. I think it's a lot of money for what you get.
Which park is that?
It's at AOAA.
AOA, yeah.
Yeah.
See, I think that's what would turn me off about like the Easter Jeep Safari is just I hear about so many people going out there, and like that sounds awesome, but at the same time, like I'd want to be able to just roam around, kind of go at my own pace. It's
like a Woodstock.
I said my bucket list was to go to Moab. Initially, my bucket list was to go to Easter Jeep Safari, and then I started talking to people, and they're like, if you go during EJS, like that's cool. It's an experience all in itself. But you should go like the week before and the week after.
Right, when it's dead.
That's when everyone's gone. You could just go have fun.
Yep.
I guess that kind of brings up a good question. What do you guys think is a good size group for like going on an off-road adventure, like wherever you're going off-roading? I think kind of the smaller the better, not necessarily too small, but like maybe like 10 to 12 rigs I think is probably max, just because if you have too many, there's people stopping, more people braking, and I have to pee, or I need to do this, or I forgot to air down, or
there's
gas,
drain plugs in the Wrangler.
Just hook up a hose and a funnel.
So as a guide, we have a kind of a rule of thumb. Every time you stop, it's 15 minutes. Every time the group is stopped for any reason, 15 minutes minimum. Unless it's lunch, then it's an hour. Because every time you stop, someone is going to be like, oh, we're stopped. I'm going to quick jump out and go pee. And then like 3 people behind him is going to stop and get out and go pee. And then like, that guy's wife is going to go pee. And that's like,
how do you guys handle pooping?
I mean, really that's up to the driver of the vehicle. I have a strict diet that I follow when I'm on the trail. I eat pretzels and I drink a lot of water, right? Yep. Because pretzels fill you up, but they don't make you have to go to the bathroom, and they soak up the water so you don't have to pee as much.
That's why I eat a lot of popcorn.
That's a good strategy right there.
But I did.
I think I've heard that before. I don't know if it was from you or from somebody else, but yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
I mean, you got to drink water, stay hydrated. Otherwise, I mean, personally, I get migraines if I don't hydrate. So I got to drink a lot of water, and I eat pretzels to soak it up.
Kyle, to kind of touch base on your question, I think like 5 to 10, I think is like ideal.
Yeah, I was going to answer the same.
Yeah, like 5 to 10, because it's enough where if stuff were to go down, there's enough people around, it's good. But then it's also not a traffic jam, because I've been on trail rides with 20 or so rigs, and it literally one obstacle jams you up for hours on end.
Yeah.
So for the Jeep Jamboree, I guide greens. Mainly because my Jeep isn't huge. I could do blues, but I don't. And I also enjoy like interacting with the folks who are new to the sport. So that's where you got to do it. So imagine a Jamboree, right? We have, I think, 7 trails opened up each day, or 7 groups, right? And they range, there's 2 greens, I think 3 blues and 2 blacks. The blacks and the blues, when people are signing up, they can eventually say, we're full. We've got 13 people or whatever their limit is, right? The black trail, usually you get like 10 people and they won't let people in anymore, because a black trail or a black group, right? You just end up bogged down. The green group is where we're like the bucket.
Yeah, you can't go any lower.
Everyone who can't get into the blue or the black has to go somewhere. So we have to go to the green. I've guided groups with like 25 Jeeps in it. Oh. And it is sometimes, I don't want to talk poorly. I don't mind guiding a big group, but it's kind of a nightmare, because you end up with so many Jeeps. There's so many reasons to stop. It's so hard to keep the group together. You end up with 2 or 3 guides within the group just to try to keep the whole group together.
Yeah, try to keep that communication from the front of the group to the back of the group.
And then you've got CB has a limited range. We've got cases where the lead can't communicate with the tail gunner because the group is so freaking long. So we ended up with handheld radios so the guides can talk to each other. And, again, I'm not going to complain. I like doing it. But a big group, there are years we've split it up, where like the mid gunner takes a group and the lead takes another group, and we get a second tail gunner, and we have 2 groups instead of 1, because it's just too many Jeeps to deal with. So for me, anything above like 2 or 3, but below 10 is a good group size.
You nailed it, like on the black versus green. Like, I mainly, just the way I'm built in the power range, if I'm in Moab, I'm on a black trail. I am on the hardest trail I can go to now, because that's what I'm pushing myself to. But that said, I've been like the Gone Moab, where like if you see the picture I posted with my Tacoma, where I'm underneath the damn thing with the the redneck 2-post lift. There were 65 people in our Gone Moab Rim trail run on Hell's Revenge.
Yeah.
65. So then if somebody's doing it backwards, which I'm the guy that's usually doing a trail backwards because I'm after just the obstacles. I was always glory hunting in Moab. And so now you're gone from like what would be a 3-hour trail ride to 12, right?
Yep.
So I cap mine now at like 10. And like even my Ruby Falls video, I think we had 6 and we didn't even make it to the falls. And I'm organizing another run right now and I've only invited 3 people with me. Because I need there's camera guys, as you guys know, as you start trying to film your own footage and you're trying to make that nice scenic shot. Well, like I've got the luxury of holding up to 8 people in my vehicle, but how many shots and the drones, and so you got to look at that side of it too, right?
Yeah,
So,
filming kind of slows up the production of the crew, because what I'll typically do when I'm filming, at least, is I'll try to either lead the group or be like a couple behind the leader, and I'll film the first couple guys, and then I'll hand someone my camera to film me going up it, and then we'll be up in the trail far enough, and then we'll kind of get the rest of the people going up at least the big obstacles. And on anything smaller where we're not getting out and stopping, I'll just kind of stick the camera out the window or have my GoPro or something like that.
Filming is actually kind of stressful for me because I kind of do the same thing with you as Kyle. I mean, if you look at any of my wheeling videos, I'm in my own videos the least out of anybody because I'm literally I'm going through the obstacle mostly first. I pull up as far as I can, park, run back, and then try to capture as much as I can.
You know how a lot of folks will share on social media, you know, like, oh, it's Wrangler Wednesday, share a picture of your Jeep. I have like 0.
Yep.
I have no pictures of me wheeling other than like my Jeep on stands in the garage.
Well, and that's the thing, right? If I don't bring somebody with me, I get 0 footage of my own vehicle.
Yep.
And I have so many people, like I'm already like Dave from D&E said it, like I'm wheeling a Lexus on 37s with an LS swap, and I don't get any footage because I'm not filming myself. And so then I'm short selling my own self in that regard, right? So, and then the other issue is like, it's the same thing. I just went out sledding this last weekend. I'm not filming myself. I'm filming other individuals, right?
Yeah, I usually get over an obstacle and then I set up a tripod or something.
That's why you got to train your kids.
And I get the hell out of the way and let them come over the obstacle. I get footage of all of them and not me.
Yeah.
Mine's 11, going to be 12. He's going to start using this camera.
Just about 5 years old.
I'd love my older daughter, who you saw here a little bit ago. She's 9. I'd love to start teaching her how to handle a camera. No, that was the younger daughter. She's only 5. Actually, they might both be wearing their Captain Marvel get-ups tonight.
I think they were.
They might be.
They both were, yeah.
I used to hand my phone or my camera to my kid, and he was 5 at the time, and it would last about 1 second before he's just like, "You're leaving me, no!" I'm like,
he would drop the phone and run.
Exactly, exactly. I'm not leaving you.
There's a video. I think it was my drive shaft video, which is one of my more popular videos, but. I had a camera set up on a tripod to view, you know, what I was doing. I was working on a vise, you know, replacing U-joints. And I gave my daughter, she might have been 7 or 8 at the time, I gave her a different camera. And I'm like, just film and we'll see what you get. And if I can use it, I'll use it. And it's just all over the place. It's everywhere. It's like, she's like, eh. And she's off in the other room recording stuff, and then it was
jammed up against her face, and she's going
yeah.
Can you
so
see my
I decided she wasn't ready to be a cameraman just yet. After that.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough to actually have a lot of people. I've kind of almost trained a lot of the group that I wheel with how I like the footage to look like and to hold the camera steady. A big one of the biggest helps now is my buddy Eric. He has a Swamp Donkey when we went to Pennsylvania to Roush Creek for the first time. He went on JK Killer. And it killed his JK.
I remember that.
He totally destroyed the transmission and had to get it towed home.
Oh wow.
But he has a camera, another DSLR he picked up cheap. That's very similar to mine, and we'll kind of split up. He'll get footage for me, like of me while I'm going, or if we have a bigger group, he might get the back half because I have to bring my Jeep up to the front half of the group or something like that. So it's really helpful to have a friend that can help get that extra shot and it's just another angle to have. I always try to have as many different camera angles as I can to make it interesting.
So Blaine, who's in the chat here, he's helped me out a number of times. He has a nice DSLR. And he had GoPros before I ever did. I was like filming on my phone, and he's showing up with GoPros. He's helped me out a lot. In fact, there's footage from like a year and a half or 2 years ago where me and CPO and Jeep Mama were at AOAA for the day.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Probably 50% or more of that footage came from Blaine. So big thanks to him.
Speaking of which, I mean, so I know that when I first got into off-roading and watching videos, a lot of them were literally just follow cams, and like I would tune out.
I hate that so much.
Like mixing it in, cool, but like if the video is literally nothing more than a follow cam, I shut down. I'm like,
like a GoPro stuck on the dash and it just the whole video. I see so many of that.
Or the camera just going all over the place and giving you a seizure.
Yep.
I do. So the dash cam thing I did for a while, but I had a gimbal in place so you could really feel what was going on. I always thought like the dash footage by itself, just like a stationary GoPro on the dash, you never really got the feel for it. So that's when I figured out I got a gimbal that's meant to sit underneath a quadcopter, and I inverted it and put it on the dash, right? And I have a video on this too. And then I had a GoPro Hero like 3 or whatever, or a clone that I was using, and you got much better footage, much more interesting footage, but it lacks something when you're not like outside of the Jeep seeing what's going on or interacting with people. If it's just on the dash, it just isn't as good.
You don't have that movement either. Like you want to kind of try to keep movement in your shots, whether like even if you have to shoot on a tripod and add like movement in post. I try to have movement in probably 90% of my shots. It just keeps the viewer's eye kind of flowing somewhere instead of just like, if it's a static shot, you're kind of looking around everywhere, just waiting for things to change. And if it's the same locked off shot for like 10 minutes while someone tries to get up an obstacle, it gets boring.
See, I kind of pulled a little bit of my style from Kyle because I like the way Kyle films. Because he kind of Kyle style,
yeah, the beard style.
It kind of reminds me of the way I used to film when I used to film skating. You know, you kind of want to be.
That's where I picked it up from, actually.
Yep, exactly. I kind of saw that, and like you want to see from the side, or kind of you want to get in close, see the trick, and then pull out. But you don't want just the same static shot. You want movement. You want to see kind of what the person or the Jeep is doing. Like I like actually getting up close enough to the point where you can still see most of the Jeep, but see the tires like articulating. You get to see the obstacle and how gnarly it can be, or what makes it.
It really comes down to the people problem, though, right? Yeah. Like when I'm in a group, I can't just get out of my Jeep and film me driving.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You need someone to be with you to not photograph, but video, right?
Yep.
You need a good wingman.
Yeah. A really cool part too of a lot of the group that I'm with is I'll leave my keys in my Jeep on the trail all the time. So like if we need to pull the line of vehicles up to get more over the main obstacle, I'll be like, hey, whoever, just move my Jeep up, and they'll move it up, and then I can stay filming.
That's a habit I've learned from trail guiding. I always leave the keys in the ignition. In fact, most of the time, if my Jeep is stopped, it's running.
Yep,
yeah,
you can just hop in and move it if you need to.
Well, I've seen, a lot of people say when it's on the trail and you're out, you should always leave it running.
I do.
Yeah,
because you just never know if it's not going to start.
Right.
This is not just that. This is something that I actually learned from my dad, who used to fight forest fires. He said if you've driven your pickup truck in to fight a brush fire, you leave the keys in it and you leave it unlocked. Because if the brush fire moves toward your vehicle, there's going to be firefighters trying to move your vehicle out of the way. And if it's locked, they can't, right?
Yeah.
It's not quite the emergency situation when you're out wheeling, but if your Jeep's blocking the trail and there's either another group behind you or your group is stuck behind it, they're going to get really frustrated, right? So you need your Jeep to be movable, right?
I always leave the keys for my Lexus in the ignition.
Yeah.
They're always there. Like, unless it's parked at home, obviously, but on the trail, it's always in it, right?
Yeah.
I won't leave it running because my volume capacity is not high enough. I'm changing that because at that side of it, like heat builds up on the muffler, on the exhaust piping. So when I wheel in pretty heavy brush, right? I've been out with Osta Cruiser, and the other side of it is like you talk about firefighting. Well, I don't want to cause that forest fire,
Right.
So that's like I wheel in what's called muskeg, and I don't know if you guys have muskeg there, but you sink in, and it's essentially
algae, right?
Dirt. It's dirt and weeds. Like it sucks to you, right? And then it lights on fire, and it burns for years underneath. Which is
wow.
cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a neat thing. Like it's not something you want to get stuck in. I ripped my Toyota Tacoma. I ripped the whole front bumper right off, winching myself out because I was stuck in it.
Ugh.
And you can't even get a tow truck driver to want to pull you out because he's not sure he's going to be able to pull you out. You talk about, winch capacity, 8,000 pounds, 12,000 pounds. But when you take a 6,000 pound vehicle that's stuck in mud, and then you throw that it might be stuck in trees and grass, well, that 8,000 pounds is now 26,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Right?
That's when snatch blocks come in handy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right.
So, and then the other thing is like you guys talk about photo angles, and yeah, like the first few videos a person ever films is one static shot, and you learn very quickly it doesn't work. Like my first probably 20 videos on my channel, which was 5 years ago, are basically for the most part from one standard point of a guy shooting from a cell phone or a GoPro, and it's terrible. The click-through rate is horrendous because the guy watches it for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, my wheeling videos don't get a lot of views, and I think that's why, because I don't, other than those few situations where I've had somebody with me that can film, like when Blaine comes along or when I'm with a group that gets it and can film, my videos they're usually dash cam or they're like the suction cup on the door thing, which work out okay, but they're just not, if I were watching them, I wouldn't sit through them.
Yeah. And that's the other thing.
Right, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I mean, would you sit through the stuff that you make? If you say yes, then it's decent. If you say no,
yeah, but then on the other side, everyone's like, "Oh, you got to release at least once a week, otherwise you're never going to get a following, right?" So if I'm releasing once a week, I need something to put out there. And if I decide this isn't watchable, what the hell am I going to do about it? I can't go back and go back out and get more
I've
footage.
recorded stuff where I forgot to hit record.
Yeah, I've done that.
I'm like, okay, where's this part of the video? Oh, I can't finish this video. I'm missing half of the damn thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been times where I've been 90% of the way through a video and I'm like, this is awful. You know what?
Oh, yeah.
Scrap it. We'll do another
I've
one.
thrown a few out. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I release for the sake of releasing, but I mean, honestly, and Kyle, I know you're big on this. If you need to release on a schedule, and that schedule, everyone says, should be at least once a week. Some people say it should be more. That's a lot of pressure.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
My release schedule is kind of erratic. It was like once a weekend or something, but now it may be like on a Tuesday and a weekend day. It may be on a Thursday and a Friday. But I'm consistent at being random, if that makes sense.
That's a shirt.
At least you know it.
That's a quote right there.
There it is.
Consistent at being random.
I mean, I try to release every 2 weeks. It's just honestly with the way things going, that works best for me.
And it's whatever works for you.
Whatever's going to produce the best amount of content or the best type of content that you're happy with, that's good. Just go with it.
I've watched some videos, man, just absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
You're like, why did you waste your time doing this?
last weekend, I just took a Saturday and I recorded content for 3 separate videos. And now I've got 3 weeks worth of videos ready to release. They're already done. I have them ready and scheduled. So like there's one releasing tomorrow morning and there's another one scheduled for next Saturday. But after that,
don't you ever fall?
What's that?
Don't you ever fall into that situation and want to just early release?
Yes.
Like I know
all the time.
I want to release. I wanted to release all 3 of them the second they were finished because I'm excited to see what people think of them.
I killed my January by doing that. Like, so December, like the last of December, I'm once every Saturday morning. That's when my normal high peak volume is. So in December, I got so excited to release content. I released 6 or 7 videos.
Yeah.
Which was huge. My channel grew exponentially because of it. But like,
I mean, if you've got those things where they're like a series and you can do that,
yeah,
like Nate with your bumper, when you do that, if you've got them all done and you're ready to go, you might as well just rock them all out if you can.
Yeah, but see, my hope is it's probably going to be once I get the steel, it's going to be a weekend's worth of work. I'm going to have all the footage done in a weekend.
Right.
But if that turns out to be 2 or 3 episodes and I could release them once a week, that draws things out a bit more, I think. But
I don't mean by like releasing them right away. I'm just like a couple of days in between.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
All of a sudden you've got people going, damn. They're like, hey, we've got a special. We're doing this and we're releasing on this date, and this date. And if it's within a week or 2 weeks within a short period of time, then
I know Dave from Asta Cruiser, who's my like local mentor per se, right? He's like 800,000 subscribers now or something like that.
Dang.
Yeah, exactly.
Impressive.
He said it best to me was just release with what you're feeling comfortable. And he releases on whatever schedule he wants. His biggest mistakes though.
When you have 800K, you can do that.
Yeah. The game's changed.
In the early days, his biggest
you make the rules.
Videos in order, right? And you see it. Like he released videos this summer that weren't in order, and it killed the next video before he even begun, right? So he said he would have rather released the second video in the middle of the week and then going to his next topic, because you've already encapsulated that individual. And he said what happens most of the time is that person's going to watch, especially if you say, hey, I'm going to premiere this, they're now going to watch part 1 before they watch part 2. And we already do it. You do a recap. Most live TV show or big TV shows do a recap of what happened, right?
Yeah.
So
do you guys ever watch Soundman? Doug, I forgot his last name. So he's got Mule Mondays. I don't watch that. It kind of And I'm watching the Base Van, which is the rest of the week, because they're always consistent. And sometimes his videos are just kind of weird and random at moments. But the Mule Mondays, I'm kind of like, That's why I was saying, if you've got all the videos done in that one weekend, getting back to what Joe was saying, just don't release them all in the same day, but just give them a little bit of space, but not too much space.
See, I'm more along the lines of you don't want to oversaturate and kind of give too much, and then people pick and choose what they want. Like
there's no way to oversaturate, in my opinion.
Yeah,
because
maybe, but
if you think
unless
about
it's that bacon thong,
the way the algorithm works,
oversaturated bacon thong.
Just think.
Sorry,
everybody just had a visualization on that one.
Yeah, it's like,
it came out so smoothly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go throw up now.
But the way the algorithm works, a lot of times you've seen it, like not only in YouTube but Instagram and Facebook. Not everyone sees your posts, even if they're subscribed to you or they have the bell on. So you could release 10 videos a day and you're not going to oversaturate it. There's so much room for people putting out content. I don't think there's any way you could oversaturate.
But I think you can oversaturate with trash.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So like I look at we talked about it in the 4x2bers. John Lopez brought it up. The analytics is a perfect example of knowing when to release a video or what video is not performing, right? That's like, I'm very hesitant to release any of my shop videos. And now I know part of that is, we talked about it earlier, single focal points, right? That's one focal point is terrible for it. But like, I look at my impressions, not so much my views. So like the click-through rate and the impressions. And like, I'm looking at it right now. If my impressions are dropping drastically, if I've got a video available, I'll launch it right then and there. And then the impressions climb. I've got a video that just garners 50 to 100 views every 48 hours just because of what it is, because it says Texas Speed in it, right? And then
it's not a drug, is it?
Know when to launch a video based off that. Yeah, that's my SRT Jeep. The only Jeep content I have.
Look, if I
Hey
followed,
man, I'm doing that Texas Speed.
if I followed that advice every week, I'd be releasing a video about that stupid tire changer I have.
No,
That's my most successful video.
But it's true though, because they say if you have a video that is successful, create follow-up content to that video.
You know what my most successful video is? Changing out the limiting straps on my Jeep, which was like my first or second video. That's up to like 2,000 views.
My Harbor Freight tire changer video, the very first video, the video that really started me producing YouTube content, has I don't know, I haven't looked at the stats lately, but it is by far my most popular video. My second most popular video is the drive shaft video. Apparently a lot of people want to know how to change U-joints.
my U-joint video failed.
No, so I think the key with mine is it's not just the U-joint, it's the dual cardan joint.
Yeah.
At the upper end of the thing, which I have taken apart before. And the first time I did it, I'm like, this thing is black magic. How do I take it apart? And I had to call someone, because at the time we didn't even have YouTube, right? I had to call a local off-road shop and say, what the hell do I do with this thing? And he walked me through it. In fact, it might have been Tom Woods. I might have called Tom Woods directly. They told me how to get it apart. And so when I had to do it on the LJ, I'm like, I'm making a video, because the only ones I found online weren't complete. Like, they were there, but they didn't have everything.
And that's what's great, is if you can find a product, a brand that you can't find any videos on, run with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because the same thing, my second best video is my Raxium Bluetooth accessory kit.
Of course it won't show. There you go.
Oh, there we go.
There is my most popular video.
Damn.
It just goes and goes. Right?
It just keeps going up.
Well, it doesn't stop, right?
It's the Energizer Bunny in Canada.
But like, it's got a 12.2% click-through rate, and it's barely below 10%, and I hate it. I absolutely.
That's exactly how mine is. I hate the damn thing.
But what do I do, right? And then Texas Speed gave me another like $50 off my order back, because it's in their whatever list that hey, if you've got a Jeep, take a look at this video. Like, and it's custom grind. It's my own spec cam that they now sell on the shelf because it works. But it's just, yeah. And
I'm a terrible YouTuber. And how do you see exactly the full details of you? Oh, I think I might have just found it. Like I said. Okay, so I've got 3 videos that actually have done very well. The Raxium Bluetooth accessory controller system install, the limiting strap, and then also the other one was the 3 best worst, the threesome challenge.
That was a great challenge.
It was. Good thing somebody thought of that.
I wonder
who thought of that.
I'll be right back.
I don't know.
Right back, guys. My full pork's ready to pull off.
I don't know. I got challenged by
You
KC
and your
250.
Canadian pork.
I want to say Steve started it.
No, I think it was FMjeeping that started it.
Was it?
Yes.
He's just like, you guys are
probably got
dicks.
the worst return on that thing that everybody else got. I didn't get much out of it either, but
So actually, I think it was,
forgot. Yeah.
I think it was Nate that I lashed out to. I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, I know Steve got over 1,000 subscribers. Somebody else said that they got over 1,000 subscribers because of that video. I'm like, I got like,
you're like,
5.
why did I get anything?
I got 5.
I think I got around that too.
Oh,
It was really small.
yeah.
1,000, damn.
Yeah, so talking about top videos, I have two that are tied. The Warren VR winch review and DV8 inner fender install.
Really?
Yeah, the DV8 one had been my top one for a while because DV8 actually put it on their website.
Oh, okay.
And then the Warren VR, now it's past it. So I don't know if people are looking into them now all of a sudden more, or
I
if
think
they
your
put it on
repair
their
of the
site.
VR is going to jump.
Yeah, that's probably going to jump up too.
Because my VR repair, it was kind of shoddy at best, but still didn't hit very well either. Even with the SEO optimization and everything, it's just nothing.
A lot of my repair videos or reviews or something, they may not all of them start off well, but they gain lots over time.
Yeah, that's kind of how this tire changer thing went. Initially, it wasn't doing well at all, and then before I knew it, it was like, I'm like, how many people are watching this thing? I just looked it up. It's got 55,000 views right now.
Jesus.
Well, that's mine. Mine originally was a headlight install video, which was like my fourth or fifth video I ever did, which is kind of bad. And then I did a high lift refurb kind of rebuild video, and actually that came out of nowhere and just it started off slow, kind of like you, Kyle, with the how-tos, and then like one day it just took off, and I started getting
thinking of doing one of those. I was gonna like rebuild my high lift because my high lift is like 20 years old at this point. And then I was going to actually take it out and do a video on actual proper usage of the damn thing. Because like I said, I do think it's a valuable tool. And I thought those would do well, but I just haven't got around to doing it.
Yeah, it's weird. I noticed that like any of my wheeling videos, though, those kind of take off right in the beginning, and they get pretty good views starting off. But then they don't always gain views continually going on. They kind of hit a wall once they get to a certain level, and they just kind of stop.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's like the how-tos have like they're slow to start. They have legs and they can go for the distance, and the wheeling stuff.
Yeah, they're marathon runners.
Yeah,
I've got a video. I helped my brother-in-law who has a Kia Rondo. I helped him replace a sensor in the damn thing, or a purge valve. It was. That's like my fourth best video, like view-wise. I'm like, it's a Kia Rondo on a Jeep channel. Why is this getting so many views? Apparently, it's a common thing.
but Brian said it. If you can find a niche, something where there's only one or two other videos or none, you literally kind of write your ticket. You know, you can.
I've got some stuff that I'm going to be doing an install for. I can't find any videos on.
That's the key.
There you go.
Yep.
So I'll be making 2 videos off of that because I can't find what I want.
If you find something that's complicated and no one's done a video on it, and you can make a video that fills that niche, you're going to get views.
Or a video that you think could be done better, like my video where I did the keyless entry for a Cherokee. That was actually done by some other guy I saw on YouTube, but the video wasn't that great, and I thought it could be done better. So I went forth and made it for myself, and it's doing pretty well. What it's really doing well on is Amazon affiliate link, because I put the link to the remote control thing as a link, and people click on it, and I've sold quite a few of those through Amazon.
So my drive shaft one, basically before I did the video and before I did the drive shaft, I went to YouTube to kind of refresh my memory to see like, okay, who's done this? I just want to see if I remember correctly, because it had been like 5-10 years since I had taken apart a dual cardan joint.
Yeah.
And the video I found was like, I don't know, 80% complete. You know how a lot of YouTube videos, they'll like skip over stuff that they think is boring.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? But when you're there trying to figure out how to do a thing, you really wanted to see that because you want to see what the struggle was. Like it'll be like, oh yeah, and then I had to take this U-joint out, and it was a real pain in the butt, but I got it done. It's like, well, okay, well, what was the pain in the butt? That's what I want to know. That's why I'm here.
3 hours later.
So I recorded literally like 60 minutes of footage that I broke up into 2 videos because it was a struggle, and I wanted people to see the struggle. And apparently, it's doing well because people are
struggle bus to sell.
Yeah, I'm actually going to release a video tomorrow The grab handle install video I did on the Cherokee, I had quite a few comments of people because I kind of glossed over the ending part where you put the plastic panel back up and you drill a couple holes for the bolts to go through.
Yeah.
So I kind of did a follow-up video answering those questions and saying like, hey, I screwed up. I kind of glossed over this end part because personally, I didn't think it was super difficult, but I got to put myself in everyone else's shoes too. And they might not know, or they may be new to it. So you never know.
Hey, Rand, I know this is kind of off topic. I think I'm going to have a hard stop here in about like 3 more minutes, just because I got to make sure the kids are in bed and everything.
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah, I got to work in the morning. I picked up OT. I wish I wouldn't have.
I'm going to go strip
Cheap
an
money.
extra.
You're gonna go strip? What?
Yeah, that too, with a bacon thong. You don't want to see that.
Yeah, I don't know if you don't want to last as long as we did last week.
Oh God.
Yeah, what were we like 3.5 hours last week?
Oh my God.
Did you see how many views that video got?
Like was that 300 last time or close?
Yeah.
To I was like,
on my channel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't even checked. Hold on, I can tell you guys.
I looked at it last. I don't remember when it was. It was this week, and I was like, does that really say 299 views? I'm like,
I see Canadian in like utter glory right now. Look at the smile on that guy's face.
is that like a brisket?
Pulled pork.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can do a pulled pork with
He
brisket.
can't even
kinda
speak.
too.
He's just like,
Look at that.
And he's got an orgy in his mouth.
He's melting into that chair.
There's a party in my mouth and everybody's invited. Not really.
It's got 284 views right now.
It's pretty
Oh,
good.
is that the last week cast?
Yeah, last week cast. It's got 15 thumbs up and 5 thumbs down.
Let's go see how mine did.
That's the most thumbs down I've had in any video.
That's when we started talking about bacon thongs.
Yeah. People don't like 3-hour live casts talking about bacon thongs, apparently.
You know
I was
what?
gonna say the trick to that cast is just fast forward to like the last hour when we've had way too much to drink and we just went off the rails.
Yeah, like the beginning wasn't bad, except we had a lot of technical errors too.
Yeah.
Mine's
You still got a lot to go there. Finish that up, Joe.
I will. Let me get some food in me first.
Are you gonna sleep in
come
your chair
on.
tonight?
The food's gonna soak up the alcohol.
Well, that's what this is doing.
Oh God. Look at that
you
man.
guys have
He's
the
been
advantage. Like it's already like 10 o'clock to you guys, and I'm like, oh man, I haven't even had supper, and it's 7:30.
I'm getting hungry again just watching.
I know, it looks tasty.
dude, brisket right now sounds really good.
We got food porn going on here.
Okay. How about on that?
Putting that meat in his mouth.
Homemade coleslaw, good old smoked pulled pork from 10 o'clock this morning. It's pretty
Did you bring enough to share with the class?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, whenever we come to visit, you're making that.
Just send some
No,
through the internet.
absolutely. But if you're coming to visit, I'm sorry. We're gonna go down to Crow's Nest Pass where we can do some awesome wheeling with a view.
Hey Joe, give me a bite of that sandwich. Show me. I got you on full screen.
That looks tasty. This actually brings up a good point. When you guys are out on the trail, how do you eat?
With
With
my
my mouth?
No, I mean, like, is it I made a ham sandwich and stuck it in my cooler?
Yeah,
Or do you go a little more in depth?
very
Sandwich
basic.
and chips.
Very basic. I eat well at home. I eat like crap on the trail.
Yeah, like I might bring a couple granola bars, but I can go quite a long time without eating. I'll do that at work a lot of times. I won't even take a lunch. I'll just kind of grab a quick.
Somebody's wife's checking in on him.
Yeah, like I said, hard stop.
I'll eat food in the morning, and then I'll kind of just go throughout the trail eating nothing, and then eat a big dinner or something.
If I'm distracted by something I'm doing, eating is like second.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that's a big problem because, Nate, I think I've got similar issue. Like if I don't stay hydrated enough, I get funky headaches and stuff.
Oh, I get full on migraines. Like
I've had
literally
migraines. I'll pass.
every year at the Jamboree, I have to make sure I drink well enough because by Saturday I'll have a migraine because I don't sleep as well as I normally would at home and I get dehydrated. But yeah, I'm usually like, I make a sandwich the night before and I throw it in my little lunchbox cooler and I bring it with me. And that's how I eat, pretzels and water aside.
Beer.
No beer on the
After
trail,
the
especially
trail.
not
I
at the
know.
Jamboree.
I know.
Shame on you.
We talked about that last video.
Yeah.
Yeah, pay attention.
Like, and the worst part is a video got posted here today about overlanding versus rock crawlers, and it's so true that they talk about in the overland crew. They're like, "Oh, those rock crawlers, all they do is drink because it's such slow pace." And the rock crawlers guys, or even the outlaw top truck guys, I know, they are. It's such a slower pace that they don't seem to care if they are drinking 12 beers on the trail.
I don't
condone, right?
I could imagine rock crawling and drinking. I'm not going to say I condone it, but I could imagine doing it and not being in like horrible life-threatening danger. The problem is, one, it's like illegal, at least in this state.
Oh, yeah.
And two, there's like the drive home afterward you got to think about.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you're hammered. You get off the trail, and you're like, "Oh, what now?"
This was fine when I was going half a mile an hour over the rocks, but now I got to go home.
And I could puke out the side of my half door.
Yeah. But yeah,
I
I can't imagine that I would ever actually drink on the trail. Mark, did you actually have to go? Is that what you were signaling?
Yeah.
Does that mean we have to call this a close?
Unfortunately, we do have to call this a close.
Subscribe to all the channels.
Yes.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
And if you don't, gypsies will come and take your children.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
so-
Especially that FMjeeping guy. He
Yes.
was our
You'll be
gracious
forced to watch-
host.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So last time around, we didn't have a definite list of who to subscribe to. Currently, everyone that was on the cast is still here except for Jeep Kitchen. So go subscribe to Jeep Kitchen, and everyone else you see on the cast right now, you should subscribe to.
Absolutely. Good videos all around. So
I have bad ones, but still subscribe.
We all have
still
bad
watch.
Bad ones are good too. That video I was just talking about is proof of that. That was a horrible video.
Okay.
Hey, go watch my video I just released.
There you go. It's it
There
premiered
you
today.
go.
Yeah, it did.
Yep.
It got,
Tomorrow morning at 9:30. If anyone's curious about who I am, aside from what you saw on this cast, I made a whole video about it, showing
You're a
people my
guy,
shop, showing people who I am, why I do what I do. So if
His
you're
bacon
curious, there's no bacon thongs.
That's exactly what I did earlier this week. Filmed basically what my
The
channel-
bacon thong you did earlier this week?
That'll be our close.
FMjeeping's got to go. Look at him. He's got the rage. Actually, his wife
He's
is
like-
probably raging.
He's like half out of the things already, out of the.
He's like, "I gotta go." Wife's
He's
Like,
signaling.
you guys are jerks.
Yeah.
Slow motion.
It's fine.
The
Trust me.
stream
He
on-
could
it's
just
all right.
set the
I
headset
gotta get
down
going.
and
I
just
gotta
walk
work tomorrow
away.
morning anyway.
Yeah, I'm just
I'm
making sure
out,
we get
guys.
yelled.
Have a good one.
So this
All right.
this has been fun and seriously good
Yep.
stuff.
It's been good, been fun. Thank you. We'll close this one out, and don't forget to wear your bacon thongs. All right. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.